Good morning, gang. What's happening? How is everyone today? So, excuse me, on the screen, we have a Puerto Rican breakfast for part of our breakfasts around the world. I actually think that the rice part of this is sometimes served as a side to a meal or even a meal sometimes. But if you do it with an egg, you create breakfast. So it is an arroz con tocino. Basically, it's used with the tocino is bacon, ham, pork belly, salt pork, anything like that. I still had the back half of the ham. So what I did is I chopped that up into little bits, cooked it down in a little bit of oil, add a little bit of garlic, an onion to that, some seasonings, threw in the rice, and toasted up the rice a little bit before I added water. I used half water, half stock because I had a little bit of stock left. And let it cook up, and boom, top it with some cilantro, and you're ready to roll. And an egg. So it was delicious. It was actually really good. Very, very, very delicious. Part of breakfast around the world. Hope everyone's doing well out there, all four of you. Um, so I discovered something this morning, something I hadn't really thought about before. So I'm wearing my Speedy, the best stainless steel sports watch in the world, the Omega Speedmaster Super Racing with the Spyrate technology on the new Speedmaster bracelet. It's comfortable, it's big, it's amazing. But maybe I'll double wrist today. As I showed the video of the VHP again, we talked about it last week. Well, here's what I discovered: 7.5-inch wrist, somewhere between 7 3/4 and 8, because this watch is tight on this wrist. It's coming off. So the right wrist bigger than the left wrist. Who would have thought? I saw Britt Pierce did her rundown of the best watch brands, like how she ranked them for 2024. And love Britt. My one complaint is her big complaint with every watch brand that she didn't put at the top tier was, your watches are too big. Just, people have evolved. Watches are too big for a lot of, you know, watch collectors that don't have big wrists, I guess. But, I don't have giant wrists. Like when I'm out, there are people that can't put my watches on because their hands and or wrists are too big. Um, it is what it is. And I went into a little bit of this yesterday, but one of the things with Omega that I love so much is that if you want the best Omegas, the best tech, the best movements, you need to go with the bigger size. Omega, a brand made for Lucha. No wonder I love them so. So if you want Spyrate technology, you need to get a 44.25 millimeter watch. Boom. If you want the 8900, 9900, whatever movements in the watches that have the double barrel coaxial escapement and the jump hour hands and the longer power reserve, you need to go with a bigger watch. The small ones won't work. The small ones don't have it. They put it in the bigger watches. You know why? You know why. You guys know. Who knows why? It's because bigger is better. Can't we just all admit it? Logan's Hall's Grill Streams is in the house. Check out Logan Hall. The grill streams are great. And again, doing those little concise pieces on what he does makes it easier for a lot of people. A lot more people should be tuning in because of those. And if you see something that's interesting or that strikes your fancy, you can go to the longer video and check it out. And these aren't like shorts. I mean, these are still pretty long. They're not 30-second shorts or anything like that. It's good stuff. You should check it out. The link is pinned at the top of the screen for anybody who would like to jump on. Of course, we've got Orko in the house. Good to see you, Orko. What's happening, my friend? Yes, so bigger is better. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about NOMOS today, NOMOS Glashuta, because the brand that's always intrigued me with their design, their in-house movements, all that, the fun stuff they do, the normal stuff they do, but they're big watch nerd, watch influencer, watch YouTuber. There, a lot of people like them and will espouse their love for Nomos on the channels. The one thing that's very interesting about Nomos is long lugs. So although not all of their watches are, they don't make many watches above a 40. Most of them are like 37, 38, 39, I think. We're going to go through their website a little bit today. But a very long lug-to-lug width, which you would think would, fly in the face of the small-wristed, tiny-wristed rat bastards in the watch influencer space. Those who insist that your watches should be smaller, I will never do that. I will stand up for your right to have a giant watch. Everyone should have a giant watch. Why not? But if you're a smaller wristed person, how do you feel about the longer lug to lug? Because that's truly, going to make the difference on the smaller wrist. So this watch, 44.25, but it is only a 50 lug to lug. So it's not super, long across the wrist. It's fat. It's a little more fat across the wrist at the 44.25. It's not small. It's not slight. There's a lot of watches that are, 45, 46, 47 lug to lug that I'm sure would fit the smaller wristed people better. But the Nomos has the longer lugs. Anyone have an opinion on that? Anyone have an opinion on anything? Anyone have an opinion on my breakfast? We got 7 people watching. We've had 2 comments. No. Has anyone hit the like button besides my 2 likes? Let's take a look. We got 6 likes. There you go. I'd like to get that up to 30, 40, 50, whatever we can get to today. That would be awesome. Hopefully George Varghese is around today and he will want to talk about the NFL predictions. If not, I'll go through them myself again. But it's always more fun to do it with George. Hopefully Brian's around out there somewhere, hanging out, drinking coffee, smoking a cigarette, eating a baguette, getting ready for Disney. And hopefully you guys are out there having a good day. Remember, do something nice for someone. Say something nice for someone. Be the change you would like to see, or be the light you would like to see shining from others. That is the way we change the world. We're like a month out from the election. Hopefully everyone on either side has tempered their feelings and just looking forward to moving on with our lives. Either way that you were voting. It has also been a month. Here, I'm going to flip it up here. We'll go over to my Instagram, which the main Instagram, there's 2 because there was one old one that was affiliated actually with Tim's old show, but this is the main one I use. This is the _Luchabedic_Mark. So send me a request. But one of the things, we had the 1 month anniversary on the 6th of the new Speedmaster. I didn't clean it up or anything when I did this video, so you can see a little dust on it. But even with the dust, Look at that amazing piece. That honeycomb dial is lovely. The bezel with the ceramic bezel is amazing. The look, the feel, it's everything I ever wanted in a watch, I think. And I never even thought I wanted a Speedmaster. So what do you know? But the 1 month anniversary, it has officially been on the wrist for a month, and it's awesome. We also had professional wrestling last night. I went to, there's a local indie wrestling spot here in Pittsburgh called IWC, not International Watch Company. It is the International Wrestling Cartel. My childhood friend's daughter, Raylyn, you will find her. She wrestles mainly on the independent circuits. She's been doing a lot of out of Dallas. She also wrestles for Jeannie Buss in the Women of Wrestling production that she does out there in Los Angeles. Jeannie Buss, who owns the Lakers, has her own little wrestling company, women's wrestling company. So she wrestles for them as well. That is, she will either see her under the name Ray Lynn, Ray Cray, or out at Women of Wrestling. I believe she is Chantilly Chella is her name out there. But lovely girl, really cool. Always so proud of her because it's hard work. Uh, yes, professional wrestling is scripted, but it is hard work. She's had this title for a long time before, but she doesn't wrestle here in Pittsburgh very much. But she did come in for an appearance to wrestle Mila Moore for the IWC women's title. Mila cheated, Raylan lost. What a bummer. But good time. And there's a couple pictures I took of the proceedings. But IWC always puts on a good show. There's probably about 300 people there, which is a good pickup for a Saturday night indie show when so much else was going on in the world and in the world of sports and being so close to Pittsburgh. It was indeed the Pittsburgh Classic. If you guys remember Elias, do you want to walk with Elias? He's a Pittsburgh guy, and he is now going with by the name Elijah. Do you want to walk with Elijah? He was there, so it was cool to see. But these guys put their heart and soul and bodies on the line for entertainment purposes. So it's good stuff. We've got Nub Gunner in the house. Good to see you, Nub Gunner. Cheers, Marky says. Yeah, it's always good to see the Nub Gunner in there. Hope he's doing well. Good dude. Follow him. You can follow everybody, all these guys you see on the thing. George, he would be excited about the International Wrestling Cartel because they're named IWC, which is his favorite brand.
Good morning, Mark. I couldn't resist the wrestling talk.
I know, right?
You hooked me in.
I got you with the professional wrestling.
Yes. Sorry, I missed last week. I had my son and his roommates and
I said that on the show. I said I don't know that George is going to make it because the way he was talking, he was going to have a house full of people.
Yeah, I had a house full of college kids storming the refrigerator every 30 minutes. You know, I've never seen food disappear as quickly.
As fast as it did.
Oh my!
Yes.
Well, the good thing was there was no leftovers after Thursday, so it was good for my waistline and my wife's waistline as well. So we were exceedingly happy.
Yeah, that makes it better. Yeah.
Yeah, we had literally a full house. We had my parents were in town, and then my son and like 4 of his college friends. You know, and it was like jam packed. So yeah. Good times.
Good stuff. Good stuff, though. Was a successful execution of the meal?
Oh yeah, it was really good. My wife does all the trimmings, and then there's a local meat market here that we bought some the turkey and the ham from. So
okay,
and they do a good job with it. So it was good, very
Yeah,
good. I was
right.
pleasantly surprised. So, anyways, I thought I'd just hop on because I missed our last week's NFL schedule, which just
Hey,
about crushed me. It crushed
yeah,
me bad.
it's bad. I and
Yeah.
my picks, with or without you, were not any better. I'm a terrible
Oh. Ah.
prognosticator, George.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
We got
So,
Johnny in the house. We got Tan.
hey, hey, good morning, Tan. Good morning, Johnny. Nub Gunner, Orco, Logan
Yeah,
Hall.
we got.
Well, yeah, last week was horrible. So,
Yeah, it was a terrible week.
yeah, what do you do? I
Yeah,
remember, like in the '80s. Do you remember Wendy Richter?
oh yeah, cowgirl
Yeah,
Wendy. Yeah,
yeah, and the Fabulous Moolah. I remember watching them. It was. Yeah. Then they had a ladies wrestling called Glow,
oh yeah.
Glamorous Lady. Yeah, remember that? Yeah.
There's actually a pretty good TV series based on that on Netflix.
Hmm. Oh,
But
really? I have to look at that.
I think there's a documentary and a like a multi-part like a TV series kind of recreation of it.
Interesting.
So
Well,
get
I
your
just thought, I was thinking about a few things last night. I was thinking, what a year it's been, huh?
oh my god, yeah,
Jeez, we had in terms of the watch community, we had the whole uh, Tim Wright breakup. I think
yeah.
Archie's son. It's been an interesting year, to
The
say the least.
the Cubitus.
Yeah, Cubitus, yep, yeah. You getting another IWC. So I was just thinking,
I'm
yeah.
all Omega now, George.
Oh well, you're moving up in the world now, right? Those cars must be flying out of the lots.
It's flying off the lot.
So,
Yeah.
anyways, yeah, interesting times in the watch community.
Interesting times in the watch community, in the world,
Yeah,
in the whole everything has been kind of odd and off and crazy.
yeah, to say the least. To say the least, it's always interesting to listen to college kids talk about politics because there's such a naivete about life and reality because they're
Yeah,
all living off of, you know, parents and their credit cards and and they think money grows on trees. They could be ideal, and I think they're all about to realize a hard lesson in life in
yeah,
about 6 months when they graduate and try to find a real job.
yeah. Everyone does.
Yep,
It's part of the path.
it
And
is. It is.
and part of it is when you're at university, you are inundated with one side.
Mm. Speaking of universities, I watched the Ducks and the
Oh
Nittany Lions. There
yeah,
was never, living in the Northwest and having like lots of ties to Oregon.
yeah.
They're like my second favorite team. Um, I never had a doubt for a minute that Oregon was going to lose that game.
Yeah, I never I even
I
to it, I said, "I think it'll actually end up being a pretty entertaining game, but I don't see Penn State winning."
No,
And they didn't.
nope. There was never a doubt in my mind, even when
They
they came
twice
close, like within a
twice to get
touchdown.
a valiant comeback.
Yeah, yeah.
Just couldn't
I
quite.
The other thing was is my son called me, because he's at the competitive school at University of Washington, and he's like, "Well, there's a big difference, Dad, between Oregon and Washington.
Yeah.
Academics. We can't recruit all these kids. Plus,
Oh, you know,
plus,
they don't have the
you know,
Nike money.
yes, exactly. That's what he said too. They don't have the $1 billion Nike grant for
Yeah,
the athletic teams. And Oregon, in the state of Oregon, it's University of Oregon,
yeah,
everywhere, right? So it's an interesting love affair in the state of Oregon. Then you cross the river into Washington, and it's depending on which side of the state you cross. It's either the Cougars on the right side of the state or the Huskies on the left
yeah.
side of the state. So it's always interesting the dynamics in the Northwest. And I guess like we have some family friends who kids go to Oregon, and they were telling me the other day, well, Oregon is going to finish the job that UW couldn't finish last year and get a national championship. I said, okay, but we still know who's the better school academically. So there you
I,
go.
I will tell you who I would be afraid to play. Georgia.
Yeah, I'm not
Even with
sure
2
about
losses,
Georgia.
Georgia's
Yeah,
really good.
that Texas game, I watched that. I watched
Yeah,
all three of the games. I watched the SMU Clemson game, which was pretty good as well.
yeah.
And, I thought your Penn State was doing real well. Then that guy threw that interception in the fourth. In the first and
They
10
were
play.
yeah, somebody asked me yesterday about it. They said, is Oregon going to blow them out or will it be a heartbreaker? And I actually picked it because I said Oregon's going to go up, Penn State's going to come back, and they're going to get their hearts broken at the end, which is kind of what happened.
Yeah, yeah. The interesting thing, I've never understood like these plays that involve sidelines.
Yeah,
I understand the theory behind it, but it's like you almost are going up against an extra defender in the sideline itself,
right,
right?
exactly.
And the chances of completing passes are pretty difficult, even in the NFL, among the best of the best wide receivers when you're running that close to the sideline, right?
Yeah,
I just never understood that. But anyways, what do I know?
it
Oh
happens.
well. Yep. I wonder how far. I think Penn State will still definitely be in the
Oh yeah,
playoff.
they're going to end
Yeah.
up ranked. They'll probably end
Yeah.
up ranked 5th.
Yeah.
They'll have a home game.
Right.
Um, and we'll see. But Basil's in the house, Uncle Phil.
Yeah.
Good to see Basil's. Basil's picked up an Oris, a Longines, and a tag here recently.
Nice.
Nice haul.
Yeah. And
Orchid,
he had change left over.
yeah, there you go. He got deals. Well, he did. He got deals on.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, he was on. Oh God, the name escapes me now. He did the unboxings on Basil's. What was that guy's show? What was that guy's show that you did the unboxings on? Why can't I think of it? There's so many. Too many people. Speaking of people, and
Oh
too
no.
many, Cowboy Dick is here.
Oh no.
Young Brando's show. That's what it was. Thank you, babe.
Hello. Is this thing on here? Can y'all hear me?
I think we can hear you.
Hello.
We can hear you and smell the smoke.
I'm just coming on here on a Sunday morning. Just got out to church. I'm gonna tell you right here, down here in Texas way. There's 3 things we pray on. Are you ready for this? 3 things. We pray to God, guns, and Jerry Jones. Amen.
It's not steers, queers, and fears.
No, that might be that might be what happened when you went over to Cleveland.
Well, Cleveland's coming here today. 1:00 game.
Well, you know why they take the Browns to the Super Bowls.
Carson Beck got injured last night. He was in for the winning play due to the backup quarterback losing his helmet. Yeah.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah.
See that. So shall we get to our picks for Sunday, Mark?
You want to get to the picks right now? We can do that.
Yeah, I got some stuff to get done here. So
all right, let me pull it up. All right, let's see here. Share tab. Boom. There you go. Well, my scoreboard is biased because the Steelers are on top. And we have the Browns at 3-9, 1-5 on the road at the Steelers. Pittsburgh minus 6.5.
Oh,
it's a lot of points for
it is
for a snowy game that was close, and that Cleveland won last time.
I'll take the Browns and the points, even though I know that Pittsburgh's going to win. I just can't give up 6.5.
Yeah, I'm actually going to take the Steelers. I think they got a little chip on their shoulder in this game.
Are they coming off a bye?
No.
Okay.
They beat Cincinnati in the shootout last week.
Buy coming off a bye, that would be San Francisco. They're bye.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn, Cowboy Dick. So
Oh
we
no,
got.
I changed back. I changed back. It's just me.
Oh, okay. It's just Brian.
Okay.
Sorry.
Don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody I'm him.
All right. So then we've got. Oh, Brian, do you have a pick?
For what?
Browns at Steelers.
Oh, you can't go with the Browns.
All right.
They're unreliable.
It's true. Then the next game would be the this is like the disappointment bowl. The Jaguars probably without Trevor Lawrence, who got just laid out by that dude last week, versus the Fighting Logan Halls.
I'll go with the Fighting Logan Halls and the points.
Yeah.
I'll take the under.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Fighting Logan Halls. I don't think Mac Jones has it in him for
there's tickets available for that game as low as $6.
It's so terrible.
Yep. $6.
The ticket price is 1/4 of the temperature at kickoff.
Mhm.
Yeah, they have trouble,
Yeah.
they have trouble filling that place. There's a couple people I know from Tennessee that tell me that you can go up there for like $10-20 and get a pretty decent seat on game day. I'm like, that's terrible.
Yeah.
The Jets at the Dolphins, Miami -6.
Miami and the points. Jets just are awful.
They're a dumpster fire. Sorry, Buckley. Sorry, Buckley. The Jets are horrid.
You think Rodgers will retire or be forced
I don't
to
think
leave?
I don't think he will. I think if he's not there next year, it's because they force him out. He's just too.
Let me tell you something. I've never been a guy who's more arrogant than this guy for only winning one Super Bowl.
Yes.
You won one Super Bowl and you think you're like Tom Brady,
I mean, he did win 4 MVPs, was it? 3 or 4 MVPs, but he's got one Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm taking the fish here.
Yeah.
Brian, are you taking the Florida team?
I'm sorry, I fell asleep while George was talking.
Oh, see how you are.
Oh man.
Brutal.
I will say, George, thank you for coming on here and saving us from talk of Nomos.
I
won't be staying on too long, Brian. You'll have to carry the torch.
Okay.
Next up, we've got.
Wait. I gotta go with the Jets because my granddaughter's mother is a big fan of the Jets. So
she's been disappointed since 1968.
Yep.
and she's also a Mets fan. So
double whammy.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than being a New York sports fan these days, is there?
It's a little brutal.
You got the Mets and the Yankees, and you got the Jets, the Giants,
the Knicks.
Oh, Knicks and Rangers. Who knows?
Rangers,
it's horrible.
Yeah.
Hey, I heard Juan Soto might be deciding on his team today.
Yeah, I heard that as well.
Yeah, and how funny would it be if he joins the Red Sox? I'd laugh my head off.
That would be poetic.
Yep. That would be the summary of the New York sports season for 2024 right there.
Oh my. So we got hold on, we got Billy. Good morning, Billy. Bezels says, I guarantee the Patriots won't lose this week. They must be on the bye.
That's right.
They must be on the bye. We've got the Falcons at the Vikings, Minnesota -6. The Falcons they're 500. They were my sleeper pick at the beginning of the season, but they don't look great. Kirk Cousins seems to have regressed a little bit. I keep getting curious if they're going to put what's his name in there, that first round pick they took at quarterback.
The guy from UW.
Yeah. What the heck's his name? Why is it
I forgot his name too. I should know it.
He
The
hasn't played
lefty.
so long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Michael
lefty.
Penix. Michael Penix.
Yeah, Michael
Yeah.
Penix. That's right. I can't
Yeah.
believe I forgot that.
And the Vikings just seem to keep winning.
So it's the Vikings by 6. I'm going to take the Falcons and the points.
Okay.
I think Kirk Cousins is going back to Minnesota. I think he was going to light it up over there. But you know what, though? I saw the game last week against the Chargers. 4 interceptions, Mark.
Yeah.
I think it was something crazy. You know,
It was nuts. He didn't play well at all, and he's been on a little bit of a downhill slide.
Yeah.
He started the season a little rough against Pittsburgh. He looked like the Achilles was still bothering him, and then he hit this point where it seemed like, okay, here we go, and then not so much.
Right.
I think take the Vikings, even giving up the 6.
Okay.
Minnesota's just played really well this year. Sam Darnold has outpaced anyone's expectations.
Yep.
And they got a good coach, decent. Flores' defense is good. I'm gonna go with the Vikings, and then we got the Saints visiting the Giants.
That's easy. Saints and the points. I don't care what the points are.
5. New Orleans -5.
Yeah, I'll take them and the points.
Yeah, same here. The Giants stink.
Wait, the only way the Saints lose that game is if they accidentally end up at Candlestick instead of going to Central California for the new stadium.
Yes.
Yeah, the Giants are just that's
horrible.
Horrible. They did the Hard Knocks, off season with the Giants, and they made such a big deal about them, man. Well, it's Saquon, we're gonna miss him, but he's blah 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 blah. Well, Saquon's having a year.
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley, Penn State prodigy, is having a year back in his home state of Pennsylvania.
Speaking what a great pickup.
Yeah. Ooh, this is a big line, George. Philadelphia -14 at home against the Panthers.
Oh, I'll take
a lot of points.
You know what? On this one, I'm just going to pass.
Yeah, I'm going to pass.
God. But actually, Bryce
the Panthers have been playing a little better.
Yeah. Who's the quarterback for the Panthers? Bryce Young?
Bryce Young. Yeah, he's
been playing much better,
Much better here since they benched him and brought him back.
All right.
14's a ton of points.
But the Eagles are so good.
Yeah.
So good. Ooh. You go first.
So tough. I think, however, 14's too many. I think Philadelphia wins by 10.
Yeah, I'll take Carolina and the points too.
Which, again, I always remind everyone, if you want your team to win, please have me pick against the guarantee. The Raiders, who are super disappointing at 2-10, probably on their way to drafting Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah.
Maybe bringing his dad in to coach the team.
Maybe.
At the Buccaneers, the Tampa Bay -6.5 to the Fighting Baker Mayfields.
I'll take the Bucks and the points there.
Yeah, I'm going to do the same. Seahawks at Cardinals. Seahawks at 7-5. The Cardinals at 6-6. Arizona -3.
As a Niners fan, I have to have an Arizona win here. Got to have it here, right here.
And I've said before, I think Arizona's playing well. I like the way Kyler Murray's year this year.
Yep.
I'm going to take the Cardinals as well.
Yep.
425. We've got the Bills at the Rams. Now, at the beginning of the year, you would have thought this was going to be a game.
Yep.
Now, I don't know. They're in Los Angeles. Buffalo -3.5.
Buffalo and the points. Buffalo will rip the Rams.
Buffalo looks really good this year.
Yeah, they're going to rip the Rams apart.
Yeah, I agree. And then we get down to your team.
Yep. I'm
Bears
going.
at the Niners. San Francisco -3.5. Who's playing for the Niners? Who's out?
Basically, who's out?
Yeah.
McCaffrey's out. Ayuk is out. Probably Samuel's out. Bosa's out. Greenlaw's out.
Purdy
Who else
playing?
is out? Purdy will be there, and I think that's about it. Fred Warner is like playing with a broken ankle.
Yeah.
So the interesting thing, my father and I were talking about like the Rams and the Niners situation. So the Rams have Sean McVay, right?
Right.
And the Niners have Mike Shanahan, right? Two probably the most elite coaches in the NFL. Let's face facts. They're both on the downside of their stay in LA, I think.
Yeah.
LA and San Francisco. So there's rumors coming out of San Francisco that they're willing to trade Shanahan
Oh.
to, of all teams, the Chicago Bears for a first round pick. So my father,
if you get a first round pick for your coach, I'd do it.
yes, it's been done before.
Yeah.
And so my father was saying, can you imagine what Sean McVay, if the Rams decide to move from Sean McVay, what they would be able to get from him? Because he's won a Super Bowl,
Right.
you know?
The thought with McVay is that he is destined for the booth.
Well, it all depends on the opportunities, Mark. You know what I'm saying? It all depends on the opportunity. Does he want to take a chance, say, like in New York with the Giants? Would he
No.
be interested
No, don't.
in Chicago with a young mobile quarterback? Right? You don't
Yeah,
know, right?
it's
Or
true.
maybe how about the Cowboys?
How about them Cowboys, George?
Yeah, you know. So these are because I think if the Rams go sub 500 and they don't make the playoffs, I think Cooper Cup is out of there. I think Stafford is gone. I think it's a complete and total rebuild. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I really do. And the same thing with the Niners too. I think it's going to be a total rebuild because they've got so much money tied up with McCaffrey and with Ayuk and Samuel and Bosa and Warner and Trent Williams, just on those five players that
Those guys.
you can't you in the NFL with the hard cap, you just cannot build for the future. You know,
So based on this year, do you pay Purdy?
if you ask me, will Shanahan be there next year? If he's there next year, then I'd say you have almost no choice because I don't see anyone out on the market that you could get that's better than him. You know what I'm saying? Unless
Yeah.
if you want to take a shot on somebody like Daniel Jones for a year or somebody like that, or maybe you want to.
You got
Or
two
you,
guys not under contract next
yeah.
year. They're going to be. I'm very interested to see what the market is like for them in
And
Russell Wilson and Justin Fields.
and don't forget, Sam Darnold's a free agent too. Do you think
Yeah.
he'll come back to the Niners? You know, and like I said, I just think it's going to be kind of interesting because if you think he's better than anyone else, then and you think 'cause I don't think he could work with another offensive coordinator other
Okay.
than Shanahan. So I think like if Shanahan's there, then you re-sign him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if he isn't there, then I think you let him walk and then you do a complete overhaul of the entire team.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to get nothing for Ayuk. You're not going to get anything for Samuel. You'll get nothing for Trent Williams, who's 36 or 37 years old. You'll probably get a haul for Bosa if he's injury free, and you'll probably get a haul for Fred Warner. Other than that, they have nobody else. That's the problem this year.
Trade the coach, get an extra number one pick.
Yeah. And the problem is they gave up so many draft picks to draft Trey Lance. That's the killer. You know?
Well, that's
that killed him. That just absolutely killed him.
Those deals rarely work out. Ask Cleveland.
Yeah. And
how much they give up for nothing.
and
And Trey Lance was
Yeah.
a reach. He was a reach at best.
yeah, just horrible picks. Horrible picks. And John Lynch, somebody should be fired for this incompetence.
Yeah.
Total incompetence. Either
You
it's
that far up to draft a
yeah,
quarterback, and then you're like, you know what, though, Mr. Irrelevant's better.
yeah. Think
You
of
know,
think of the irony of that. You
yeah,
know, you literally didn't even have to pick Brock Purdy. You could have just, if you liked him that much, you could have picked him up as an undrafted free agent, right?
yeah,
And you could have kept your 3 first-round picks and had somebody that you needed on the off, in your own pick. It's just unbelievable, unbelievable. But I think somebody needs to go. I think either John Lynch needs to go, Shanahan needs to go, or all of them need to go.
yeah.
Unfortunately, just incompetence.
I agree. Something needs to change there.
Yeah.
But
So
given
their
all that,
draft picks,
if they win this week and Arizona wins, they're still have a chance to win the division.
the NFC West has become like the NFC South, like the
Yeah.
worst, and it's like fool's gold. It's like
Mhm.
you look at the Rams, right? And it's like, 'cause my father's kind of a Rams fan, and he
Yeah.
was saying it's fool's gold because you're not that good. You're only in a crappy division, and that's the only reason why you're still competitive. It's not like you're going to get uh, a berth outright in the playoffs.
Right.
Anything can happen on any given Sunday. You just don't know,
You
but
know,
highly unlikely.
I am yeah, I agree. The interesting stat of the week. 21 seasons in a row, tying the Dallas Cowboys for the longest streak in NFL history of non-losing seasons for the Steelers last week.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
But they haven't done much with it. But the opposite of the NFC West, the AFC North is always a tough division, and yet
It
they
is.
find ways to win it a lot.
Yeah.
It's like
But
they
you know what though, Mark?
division.
You know what though, Mark? It's always been defense that wins games, right? I don't
Yeah.
care what you say. It's always been defense that wins games. And if you have a good defense, you're going to be in almost every game, right? Even if your offense is incompetent, right? You just don't want to have a quarterback that keeps throwing interceptions on your side of the field, right? So, it's like, at least with the Rams, they have a young defensive line that's up and coming, so they have some future. As for the Niners, I don't know what the hell they have anymore. It's a totally unrecognizable team. It's like last year, and they just gone to hell from last year. I don't understand. I think it's just playing. They've been in so many postseason games. It's almost like a regular season full of postseason games, and it wears on your body, right? So
Where's on your body?
yeah,
You get to that point where you're paying more for your core, so
right,
the people around them aren't quite as good.
right.
It does come home to roost.
It
That
does. It's
being said,
horrible.
I am taking the 49ers this week.
Oh, me too. I'll never pick the Bears ever again.
Johnny O says, "Don't forget to fade the Bears."
Yeah,
Tonight's
exactly.
game is the Chargers at
Oh,
the Chiefs.
this is going to be a good one.
Yeah,
Like I said, I watched the Chargers game, and I have to admit one thing: not Harbaugh, Herbert. Man, that guy could throw that ball around.
he can throw the ball, and
He just doesn't have the receivers this year. That's the unfortunate thing.
Harbaugh can coach.
Flat out coach.
He can just flat out coach.
And I'm gonna go out
made-
on a limb real quick, Mark. I'm gonna say something here that's gonna be controversial. Okay, here we go. The LA Chargers will win a Super Bowl before the Baltimore Ravens or the Buffalo Bills.
Wow,
Yep,
there it is.
there it is.
With that
Next
guy,
year, yep.
they're at 8-4. I mean, who would have picked them to be the 8-4? And I'm not saying that Herbert isn't good, because I think he's really good. But with all the pieces they lost because of the salary cap,
Yep.
I expected this to be a true rebuilding year for them, and then Harbaugh was going to just light it up next year, and they're sitting at 8-4.
Right. So they're going to make the playoffs most likely.
Yeah.
Right. So think about it this way. Being from LA, I kind of follow them a little bit, and understand the workings. They're going to have almost like 80 or 90 million dollars under the cap this year coming up in 2025, right? And if they get like T. Higgins,
that would be a great
yep. And I can yep, they're set for the next 6-7 years, You're getting your wide receiver at his prime, so we'll see how that goes. But Harbaugh's a hell of a coach, hell of a coach, and he's sold that team. And the funny thing is they were playing the Ravens in L.A. at SoFi, and there was a lot of Charger fans there.
Yeah, that's it's a tough. It's often not home field for either LA team.
No, but I'm seeing like with Harbaugh, I'm seeing like a lot more Charger fans at the stadiums, because at least there's some hope, right?
Yeah, exactly. And they have cool uniforms.
Yep.
I'm taking the Chargers.
Yeah, I would too. 4 points. Their defense, they barely lost to the Chiefs the first time they played. I remember it was like 10 to 13 to 10 or 16 to 10, something like that, So I think they're going to be okay.
All right, Monday night. Speaking of defense wins championships, the Bengals do not have one.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow is putting up MVP type numbers, and they are 4-8.
The Bengals will rip them apart.
You think the Bengals rip the Cowboys apart?
The Cowboys don't have a quarterback.
Yeah, they can't keep up in a shootout.
No.
Yeah, I'm going to pick the Bengals here too. They're getting 5.5, but that's the Cowboys. They're 1-5 at home, so they have no home field advantage now. So I'm going to do this. Hold on one second.
I don't know what's more exciting for me in football, watching a Chiefs game to see the reactions of Taylor Swift or watching a Cowboys game to see the reaction of Jerry Jones.
George, I wanted to go to Thursday night because it involves your Niners.
Yeah.
The Rams at the Niners.
Yeah.
Who you got?
Oh, man.
There's no obviously, because it's technically.
Oh God,
this is just a straight up pick 'em.
You know what has to happen here? What has to happen here is George has to admit that his lifelong religion is wrong and the Antichrist is right.
Oh, my heart and my mind says the Niners,
Technically, this could be the game to get the 49ers back to 500. If they win this week, they'll be 6-7.
Let me tell you something, Mark. This is, when I pick the Niners to beat the Bears, in the back of my head, I always have this strange feeling that this is the game that Caleb Williams throws like 5 touchdowns. Yes.
It's coming out party.
Yes. Rushes for like 200 yards. Odunze catches like 3 touchdowns, and Keenan Allen has like 2 touchdowns, and
it could happen.
Yeah. So, if you tell me who wins this week between the Bears and the Niners, then I'll tell you who's going to win that game. So
I'm assuming that the Niners beat the Bears.
Yeah, I would too. So I would take. I'm going to take the Niners on Thursday night to rip the Rams. I think if the Rams lose this week, they're pretty much toast. I think it's over. They know it's over. The season's over, and it's time to pack up.
The Rams have been doing it with coaching smoke and mirrors, I think, this year.
Well, the problem is it's a long story. When they started the season, right, they barely lost to the if you watch that first Sunday night game against the Lions, right, they lost in overtime to the Lions. Well, they lost Nakua, right? Mm-hmm. They lost their 2 offensive linemen, and then they went like 1-4 with their only victory being the Niners at home. you know. So literally, they should have been 0-5 because the Niners were winning. So, and in the NFL, you can't get out of 1-4. It's really hard.
It's tough.
It's tough.
It is.
But
I
they,
like the Niners this week or the next. I like them this week and on Thursday.
yeah,
I think the Rams completely do it with coaching.
yeah.
And Stafford, although not having a bad year, he doesn't look quite the same.
No, it's age. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? It's
it's
age, and that offensive line has not played really well. So when your offensive line isn't playing well, guess what's going to happen to a 36-year-old quarterback?
You're gonna get hurt.
You're going to get hurt. That's exactly right. So,
No
anyways,
doubt.
it's a painful season. But if the Seahawks somehow win this game, then pretty much the NFC West is toast, I think, for
Yeah.
the Rams and the Niners, you know. So it all depends on that game.
Yeah, I see that. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be the NFL is always interesting. So we'll have our picks next week. That was our picks this week and for Thursday night. I wanted to get the Thursday night game in just because the Niners were in it. So figured we should
Yeah,
pick
what
it.
do you do? Oh well. Anyways, back to the watch talk.
Back to the watch. Can we talk about Nomos now?
Where's Brian? Is he conscious?
It's just Brian.
So you're thinking about picking up a Nomos? Is that what I'm hearing?
No, I'm always interested in the brand. It's a brand that always like people talk about them a lot and their movements and their their case designs and stuff. And I'm always like kind of curious about them. You know what I mean? I'm not curious enough really to buy one. I don't think there's a guy on my Instagram, watches books and more, who has a club sport Neomatic, which sort of like his is the kind of petrol green, which they don't make in the bigger size. In the 42, they only make black and blue. But he'll post pictures of that on Instagram. I was like, that's a really good looking piece. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, that's just a solid looking watch. And so I'm always curious about them. They're kind of in that kind of weird price range above. Oh, yeah.
Can I give you some advice?
Yes.
Friendly advice, okay?
Don't buy them.
The first thing I would do is unfriend this guy on Instagram. Okay? That's the first thing I would do. I would delete all contacts.
Delete, block him.
Delete him and block him immediately. Okay? That's the first thing I would do. All right? That's just my advice.
Some friendly advice.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, the other thing that makes me curious about Nomos is what I was saying at the beginning, where the watch influencers are always trying to tell you that watches should be smaller, but they all love Nomos, and Nomos has really long lug lengths on their watches, which make them wear bigger. So I've always been curious about why those two things go together.
These influencers are probably shareholders of Nomos, so I probably.
You think the watch Gringa has a stake?
Yeah, exactly. Anybody who's wearing Jorns and RMs and that's spruiking Nomos should they have something going on the side.
Something going on the side.
Yep.
But I think their watches are good looking. I think that they make their own movements. They do, And again, I'm not looking to buy a Nomos. I'm just very curious in the brand.
If any of us were 24 years old and just graduated from college and had a little bit of money, go get a Nomos. Fantastic watch.
Yeah.
None of us on this panel are that age.
What are you trying to say, Brian?
Oh, Mark, you'd look great with a 38 millimeter little button on your wrist and your corduroy sports coat.
Can I have elbow patches?
Well, you have to because you've worn that sports coat since 1974 and it's got holes in it. So.
Hey, that was a good year for the Steelers.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. But this watch, I think this is a good looking piece. Oh, geez, that's really big. This Neomatic club sport Neomatic. It's a nice looking watch. I think 3960 is a little excessive for it, but it's a nice looking piece. I will give it its due there.
$3,900 for this watch?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
way
Mark,
too.
come on. Yeah.
Oh, I'm not considering buying it, George.
Yeah.
My thing is, why are they so popular? Because when you get into the specs, because this is what always interests me with these influencers and their small watches. The lug-to-lug on this watch is 52.3.
Mm.
It's actually 2.4 bigger than the lug-to-lug on this giant 44 and a quarter Speedy.
Oh.
Now the height isn't bad at 10.2, but that just, to me, it's weird because all of their watches, when you go into even like the stuff that the influencers like, let's pull up what are these guys like? They like these, I think it's, we'll just pull one of these up. Set the Ahoy. Let's just look at this real quick. Just because it's a 38 millimeter and they love these watches, but I think this still is like around 50. Where's the specs? Oh, there's 49 basically, lug to lug, 48.7, big crown guard. I mean, it's a weird thing that they love these like 38, 37, 36 millimeter watches. They're like 44, 45 lug to lug, but they have all this love for Nomos, and Nomos is known for long lugs. Can anyone explain this?
Sorry, Mark. I had you on mute for a minute.
You didn't want to hear.
I didn't want to hear this. This is Sunday. We all have to repent for something, and I'm repenting right now for hopping on the stream so I could get brainwashed on a Nomos.
George, I think your collection is missing a Nomos. But again, 43, this one's even more expensive. $4,300.
Did Teddy Baldessar have these for sale? Is that what happened to you? You went there and he?
No, he didn't. He didn't.
Oh.
This is very much an Instagram thing because every time every time a picture comes up with that watch, I'm like, that's actually not bad looking.
Oh.
But I don't understand why the influencer crowd likes it.
Follow the money.
Yeah.
Follow the money.
Yeah. Well, Brian, what's new on your docket these days? What have you been hunting down? You're always on the hunt for something. Let's try to get out of this Nomos crap.
Well, I got to be honest with people. I got anchors. I got a couple of anchors up my ass right now, which is we're completely redoing the master bathroom and converting an office into a closet and redoing everything in there.
Oh,
I can't wait to take a video of you coming out of the closet.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, my closet's getting bigger, so I won't be so cramped in there.
When he was talking about dropping some anchors, I thought he was streaming from the toilet. But okay, go ahead, Brian.
No, I already took the Browns to the Super Bowl. So it's hard for it. it's hard for me to be interested in buying spending money on a watch when I'm, writing checks for $20,000 and $30,000 for a bathroom remodel and
Yeah,
and
I
then
get
the
that.
closet stuff. And
Oh yeah.
so I'm just kind of unmotivated for that.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. Doesn't mean I'm not looking for deals. I've seen a couple interesting deals flash by and I was like, whatever. Yeah, January, the deals will be better, right?
Always, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm at a point where I look at there's like so many things I want to buy, and then I look at like stuff like over the course of the year, and I'm like, okay, I'm glad I didn't buy that because I would have had to sell some Bitcoin or something else, and rest is history, right? So
Right.
it's kind of like I'm I'm looking at watches through different lenses these days, if I can be honest, right? If you're buying like a $50,000 watch, 40,000, 30,000, $20,000 watch, and you're saying, okay, what can I do with that money? Because
Yeah.
at a point you come to the conclusion you have enough watches, right? And you can only wear so many watches a day. So it's like, do I really want to buy this watch if I have to, sell some BTC or something else? So I see things now as a uh, transaction more than anything else.
Okay.
So
And I'm trying my hardest, although I bought that Jack A. Dro, which I really like.
right,
And that was $5,800. But I'm trying my hardest to really make sure that every watch that I buy, first of all, I don't want to add any more watch boxes.
mhm.
Yeah. So everything's got to fit.
Right. Yeah, you said that
Yeah.
before.
You gotta, I don't want to end up with that. Oh, I haven't worn that watch in 3 months. Yeah.
Right.
So I want to make sure that everything fits in a spot and has a spot in the rotation.
Now, Brian, you're one of the people I respect the most in this community because you've been collecting for so long and you have such a great collection. Have you ever come to a point in your watch journey where you said, you know what, I have enough. I don't really need anything else. I've worn everything that I'd like to have in my life, and I think I'm going to be content with what I have. Have you come to that point yet in your life?
No,
Okay.
because I'm not afraid to move a watch when I get tired of it.
Okay.
Yeah. It's getting harder now because I have more at this point right now. I have more watches that I really like than I have watches that I just enjoy.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
It does, actually. It
Uh,
does.
yeah. So, for example, last week I think I was talking about that white ceramic Hublot with the sapphires.
I remember that.
If I picked up that watch, would I have to get rid of the black ceramic Laureato because can I afford to keep 2 ceramic watches in my collection?
Ah.
The Breguet Type 21 Gold. Yeah, that's a watch that I really enjoy, but I'm not in love with it. It's top heavy.
All right.
Okay.
But it was like just a hair over $10,000, and it's a great looking watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm trying not to get overexpanded. I'm trying to make sure that every watch that comes in has a place.
Mm.
I can tell you that there is currently nothing from an AD that I want.
Oh.
There you go.
I'm done. I've played the AD game long enough. There's nothing that I want. There are some great deals on the gray market.
So when Rolex comes out with the all new GMT Master 3,
I want whatever they want to do. I'm not playing that game and banging on doors and wasting my time. I'll wait 2 years when they're available on the gray market for a decent price.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, imagine this. Somebody has never gone to a movie theater and seen premiere movies for the last 5 to 7 years. There's a lot of movies on streaming to watch.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I don't need to go to the theater and see the next one that comes out.
You know, I was just for me, I was just reflecting on this the other day because I was looking at my collection and I thought, well, is there really anything that I really desire at this point, or am I at a point in my life where I'm pretty content with to re-examine? Maybe like it's time for me to get rid of a few pieces that I still am not wearing. You know what I'm saying, Brian?
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, this has always been to me a hobby. And when I got into it, kind of like when you got into it, there wasn't a hype or anything like that. You just went in, you bought a watch, you wore it, and then when it was time to sell, you took a hit on it, whatever it was, Rolex or Patek or whatever, and you moved on to the next piece. It was like men's jewelry, right?
Right.
And now it's like, okay, well, for 40, 50, $60,000, I have a lot of things I could do with that money that will yield me perhaps more happiness than buying a watch does.
Ah.
Yeah, you need another original print of Curly to put up on the wall behind you.
Yes, exactly.
No,
but
it's just that stuff has to. I'm no longer buying just to buy or because it's a good deal. It has to have a place.
right.
Well, I thought it was smart what you did, Brian, when you started consolidating and moving things around. You're like, these are the boxes. This and this is the amount I want. These are the boxes I want to be full.
Yeah.
You
No,
know
that,
that
and I also
absolutely.
still I also still have that value to net worth calculation that I keep of
Right.
watches. I don't let it go over that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Um,
And I think you heard me say that many times. I usually like to keep about 5% of my net worth at a maximum into the watches.
that
But
means that George has $17 million in watches.
No, not even close. But I think the thing with me is these days it's like I just you talk to a lot of people in the community, and it's like opportunity cost, right? And
Yep.
it's like, should I sell you know this to buy this watch? And it's like I'm having a harder time doing that.
Yeah.
And I think you understand what I'm saying. I really don't want to sell assets to buy a depreciating asset, right?
Right.
That's fair.
And yeah, so it's not that I don't enjoy the hobby. It was like when I had an 116500 and I paid retail for it, and it was selling four times above you know uh retail. It was like, that's crazy.
Yeah. When I got my left-hand drive, I paid 11,000 with tax, and the only one on the gray market at that time was listing for 35,000.
Right.
Yeah. I still have the left-hand drive. I wore it last night at work.
Ah.
And
That's the other interesting thing for me is I'm looking at the watches that I'm willing to wear to Walt Disney World.
right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so far there's only 2 in my collection that I'm just not willing to wear there.
Mm.
I
would. Do you wear your Nautilus?
No, not while I'm working.
I bet. Yeah. Like I said, it's just I've been through this watch collecting hobby, and it's a great hobby, but it's just been the last like few years. It's just been kind of crazy,
Mhm.
and it kind of sours on the hobby. It used to be like just there was like a core group of people who would be like involved in this little hobby, and then it got all crazy in the 2020, 2021, 2022, and then now it's crazy the other way, right? So I think it's
listen, I fully embraced what Bruce Williams said,
mhm.
and
What do you
that
think?
he's okay experiencing watches for a while and then moving them on,
Yeah.
as long as you don't get too burned in the move on. So buy
Right.
right, sell the best you can, enjoy them while you can, move on. It's a hobby, not an
is.
investment portfolio.
You're absolutely right, Brian. And that's the interesting thing. I think a lot of people, I think, still see this as investments. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I mean, listen, if Mark somewhere in his, at night thinks of himself as a 30-year-old skinny metrosexual and wants to wear a Nomos,
yeah,
have at it, Mark. Experience it.
Experience it.
Uh,
I like it.
no, I've been looking at. There's a couple of RMs that I've seen that have been in the 80s for like the RM5,
hmm
rose gold, which I really love. RM's rose gold.
right.
Do I want to take a handful of watches, move into that, and then only have and yeah, I look at how much do I have to consolidate down. I did a little consolidation again recently, and I've got some watch money set aside, but not enough for an RM.
Yeah,
Happy
And then,
like
and
this one, Brian?
yeah, yep. I think that one sold, but
Okay.
there's been another one that showed up on the market. Now there's two.
yeah, it's a
Uh,
nice looking watch.
yeah. How much wear am I going to get out of it? Every time I go to buy I've wanted to put a day date in my collection.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I wanted to put one of the interesting day dates in there. Every time I go to buy it, I think, how many times am I going to wear it?
Mm.
So then I have the argument. Well, if I'm not going to wear it that much, why buy the 40 millimeter? Why not buy one of the more interesting 36 millimeter double quick sets for half to 35 to 40% of the price of a day date 40?
Yeah,
If you're only going to wear it 12, 14, 16 times a year.
sure.
Yeah. And then there's some interesting flashy ones too.
Yeah.
It's interesting because as I do a little introspection on the whole watch ride in the community, it's like I look back, and if I could go back and tell my younger self, I would just say, just buy a sub, a GMT, and a Daytona and be done with it.
Yeah.
That's what I would tell my younger self,
Yeah.
you know. But unfortunately, you can you fall into these traps or whatever you want to call them of like, exploring other things, and the idea it's like a visit to the ice cream shop. You want to try all the different flavors, and I get that, but it's like maybe the wise decision would have been to just stay with one brand and just enjoy that brand. I don't know.
Oh, but admit to yourself that's so freaking boring because it's
It,
so
it is.
cool. It's so cool when Debathune was
Yes.
introduced and you start learning about them and their differences, and then you get to see the Starry Various or whatever it's
Yep.
called in
Yep.
person, and then you appreciate it more because you saw it in person, and then you understand it, you learn about it, and that's the admission, the cost of admission to learning all this and experiencing all this is the price of the piece.
Yeah.
Yep. You're
So
absolutely right about that, Brian. Absolutely.
that's why I have listen. Most of the fun is in the chase or the searching and the learning, and then the actual catching of the fish
Right.
is not quite as much fun to me.
Okay.
Isn't that's the truth for just about everything, right? It's always the chase,
And
right?
no, that's what separates us from just the people that go out and buy, oh, I've got a sports watch and a dress watch, I'm done. Bye.
Yep.
Yeah. It's
But
the
that's what I
difference
want to
between
be. I want to have like 2, maybe 3 watches. That's my goal in life.
a day.
A day. Just to have two watches that I really like, that I'll wear, and that I'll appreciate. Well, mostly that I'll wear. The want, you know.
Oh, but it's also the psychology of the. I'm a Sunday football fan.
Okay.
I like football on Sunday. If I've got time, I'll turn on whatever game is on, and I enjoy a good game. I don't care what teams are playing.
Gotcha.
I am not the guy that is paying attention to what's going on Monday through Saturday with football.
Right.
That this is the shocking thing to me. Are you ready for this?
Shoot.
I'm sitting down.
Are you sitting down?
Yep.
I realize that there are people that just go online, book a trip to Disney World, and then they show up and figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's people like me that would research the time of the year, look for the best deals, plan the entire thing a week, months in advance, and figure it all out and know exactly what we're doing.
Yep.
My boss and his wife and her family are maybe right now on their way to Orlando for their yearly Disney vacation, and they have been. So his wife works. She was a sales manager at a different dealership, so she works a couple days a week, and we share the office when she's there. But I've been listening to the planning of this Disney vacation for 6 months.
Mm.
Yep. And they're having more fun with the planning than they probably are with the actual execution of the trip.
Yeah. Because there's so much planning, and then there's all the phone calls back and forth. Well, if we have dinner at this time at this restaurant and this, it's like, holy crap. In my mind, because I'm the opposite. I'm just like, I'll figure it out when I get there. Wherever I'm going.
Yeah. See, that's like exactly like with my wife. She does all the planning for our trips, and I'm just like the last minute. Let's just pack this stuff and let's just go.
Right.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, but George, when was the last time you said, you know what, I'm going to be near a watch store. I'll go in and see what they got and buy something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Now, George, if I was to show up at the next International Wrestling Cartel event, the IWC, wearing this IWC, they might make me president of the cartel.
Oh,
George.
God help us. Okay. I'm here. Yeah.
This is better than the hockey puck aqua timer 2,000 meter that he wants.
Yeah.
I do like that hockey puck.
Or the NOMOS he's about to buy in 2 weeks.
Oh, the normal. Oh, yeah, I do like the NOMOS too. I don't think I NOMOS, but I do appreciate it for what it is.
I think right after that picture with Teddy, I think Teddy turned or reached over to you, grabbed your butt softly, and said, "NOMOS in your ear."
Exactly.
Sweet NOMOS in my ear.
Yeah.
I don't think he sells NOMOS, does he?
Oh yeah, he does.
Oh, I'm sure he does.
He didn't have it in the store.
No, his store is all Swatch Group shitters. And Breitling.
And
why don't you just get a Breitling, Lucha?
There isn't a Breitling that I really like, if that makes sense. Let's head over to here and see the brands. Let's shop all brands because I don't see NOMOS listed.
Teddy's channel was one of the first guys to.
Oh, he does have NOMOS.
Yeah, he was one of the first guys to really push NOMOS.
Yeah. I don't think he has the. They get 37 millimeter. This is the one. This watch here. This is the one that guy always ends up on that guy's Instagram.
I told you, you got to stop unfollow. You got to start unfollowing him.
Follow that guy,
please, for the love of humanity.
I like that collar. I wish they made that collar. If they made that collar in the 42, George, I might be tempted.
Oh God.
I wish I had keys to the channel so I could boot Mark.
Yeah, He just clued me in that Teddy has the Nomos.
Oh,
Of course, he's got all the small ones.
I'm pretty sure in 2 weeks, Lucha's going to be having an unboxing.
Wouldn't that be great?
Oh, that's the day
At
I
least
unsubscribe.
if you're gonna buy a Nomos, at least get it at 35% off retail.
Yeah, I would.
35, at least 50.
Well, pre-owned 50,
Yeah.
new 35.
Yep.
Washington Wood says this Sally, yeah, like asking a drug, like asking
Yes.
does the drug dealer sell crack?
Yes.
Yes, he does. Logan Hall says no Breitlings you like, makes perfect sense. It's never been a brand that I really found something that I was like, I have to have that. I appreciate your watches.
I have a Breitling in my collection.
A Navi timer?
Nope. I have
No.
the Curtis Warhawk.
Ah.
Yeah.
Like I like the Chronomat GMT. I think that's a good looking watch. It's
It is
just
actually.
when you see it in person, it's small. Even though it's a 40, it doesn't wear like it wears like a 38. It's got a real small dial.
I can see you wearing the Pittsburgh Steelers colors, the one that they have for the football team.
The chronograph, yeah.
Yeah. Well, why don't we take a walk along Nashville Watch, Mark, and
All
see
right,
what
we
they
can
have.
always do that. We love to go
Yeah.
to Nashville Watch. Let's head over there.
See if there's anything.
Hello? Are you guys still there?
I'm here.
Oh, okay. Everybody was muted for a second.
I was just blowing my nose. I don't think you can hear that.
No, definitely not. Treble says I look like Bobby Dazzler in the pink one. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Or a Bobby Dazzler. All right, let's head over to Nashville Watch then. See what he's got. So his recent new arrivals. Looks like
Chase has always got something good.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got a couple Daytonas, a couple Explorers, a Daytona. What is the retail on this Sermon? Is it around 11?
Like Brian 10. Probably would know.
It's like 10 something.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's got a 24 here for $14,950. I didn't realize they were still doing that much over.
Me too.
That's the the of the subs I like. I like the Sermon or I like the No Date. Those would be my favorites there.
There is a watch I'm kind of looking at, but I'm on the fence about. Yeah, but I'm going to buy it used if I can get one at a decent price. Is the Longa Datograph in platinum?
Oh yeah.
I'd love to pick one up under 70.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. It's been on my list. I had the 1815 I bought from Chase many years ago for like 25, 26. Yeah. And it scratched my itch. And I think it's comparable to the what is it the Paddock has, Brian? Is it the 5170 that's similar to the 1815 chrono? Very similar.
Yeah, the two register boring chronograph, manual wind.
Right.
The hand job.
The hand.
But so I'm looking at that, and we'll see. That's on my list. I think I can probably pick something up maybe in January, like Brian was saying, a little bit cheaper than current market conditions.
I'm still itching for an Odysseus, the white gold one.
Yeah,
the white gold on rubber.
Oh yeah, I had that, Brian. Did I tell you that? I owned one. I got one at retail just after COVID, and I liked it, but it's not as good as you might think. And I had it on the rubber.
Quirky.
It
It's
is. And,
quirky.
and it's really, I think it's what I would call top heavy because it's
Mhm.
white gold. It,
Okay.
it felt a little top heavy to me, meaning like that. I mean, obviously it's white gold, but it's basically just around. It just felt heavy, and it
Yeah.
just felt uncomfortable. And I'm not sure you would like something like that in Florida.
I played around with one that a friend had in Charlotte for long enough
Mhm.
to know that it's not a daily wear.
No,
Okay.
Yeah, it is wobbly,
yeah,
and you really gotta buckle it down if you want it to hold still.
right.
Makes
I
sense.
just I just didn't like it, and after like about 6 7 months, I sold it to Chase. So that's just my expression of it. What I
Yeah,
did get, go ahead,
I,
go ahead.
no, I've always liked them. I've never pulled the trigger on them, and it's not,
Can I
it's
tell you what I did get from him about like 8 months ago? I got the Odysseus in the steel,
Right.
and I really like that one. I really like that one so much better. And it's crazy because I'm sure people that own Longa, and you have to have like such a huge spending history to buy one, and they put you on these crazy wait lists. It's down to like $50,000.
Wow.
Yeah,
yeah, for what, a $30,000 retail.
yeah. So I
Yeah.
don't think that's too crazy.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
It's I was looking at something like that, and then I keep going back to the steel white dial Patek 5960,
Yeah,
which is a full-blown annual calendar chronograph that you can pick up for 45 to 48.
yeah.
And I'm like, why would I buy the Longa? I don't like the style. I like the way the white gold looks on the rubber. I don't like the bracelet look on the
See,
Longa as much.
see, see. I owned the 1815 Chrono, so it's like I always associate the 5960 as like the paddock version of the 1815 Chrono. So I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, been there, done that.
Yeah.
But he had a pretty good sale over Black Friday. He had like some
Yeah,
of
I
these
saw that.
watches,
Yeah.
yeah, were like $1,500 off, and he usually never discounts that much.
Yeah, he sold a couple Omegas. He sold the
Yeah,
creamsicle and the Bond.
right.
He actually had really good prices on those. Well,
Yeah,
4650 you can still see on the creamsicle. And I think the Bond watch was around 6600,
right.
uh, which is a good price for that watch. But he's always got good deals. And what I always like about Nashville is there's a variety of price points. So
Yeah,
it's
Yeah.
not all high end, it's not all low end, it's kind of everything and anything. And but he's always got good prices on these things. But I look at this and I like 16,250 for the bluesy versus 14,950 for the unworn Sermon.
yeah.
And the two-tone bluesy is a much better deal, I think.
I
Even
agree.
you know, and you're getting gold. you know.
Yeah, right. But I think his prices are still the best on the internet. To be honest
Yeah,
with you, I'm pretty sure there's probably situations where you could get something a little cheaper, but in general, I've never had any issues with Chase. So
yeah, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I always like he gets a lot of these 39 millimeter Explorers in,
mm,
which I like this. I prefer the size of the 40 and the clasp on the 40, but the dial on this 39 with the Explorer at 6 o'clock instead of crammed in up above the handset. I just always like the look of this watch.
the interesting thing is on his website, I've never seen in the let me see. I've been dealing with him since about 2016, 2015, I think, in 9 years. I've never seen him have an RM.
No, Yeah.
Have you, Brian? Have you ever seen Chase have an RM on there? I don't recall.
I'm trying to think if I've seen an RM.
Nope, I can't recall.
I don't remember one.
Yeah, I've never seen him with an RM, or any of these other independents other than Jorn.
I think he's had the rare, odd other independent like Gronefeld or something like that.
I don't recall that, but I think it's possible.
Yeah.
But I think he's also smart enough to buy them right, and then if he needs to move them, he'll wholesale them off somewhere.
Right.
Yeah, he's had a couple of those Jorns hanging out for a while.
They've been on there.
Time.
Yeah. It looks like maybe one left.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't end up wholesaling them out just to get them.
Yeah. He must have got rid of the other one because there's only this perpetual 40 and platinum left. But he's always got a good variety of watches at good prices.
Yeah.
I don't think they do any work on them, but I think he buys things that are in good condition. If that, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think he buys.
He'll put new leather straps on stuff. He'll do a light cleaning to them, but yeah, he's not servicing them.
Right.
No.
He'll make sure that it's a full, that it's a full bracelet set.
Yeah.
If he needs to. That's the thing that bothers me about some of these Moda deals is when the watches are listed 1 or 2 links short, no card,
right.
no box,
right,
or box only, and it's it's a modern box, and you look at it, and you go, okay, whatever.
Yeah, that's
some good deals, I think.
I think so too. I think he normally does have some good deals. I was infatuated with this for a while, but now I've moved on.
What are you looking at?
The Deep Sea.
Oh yeah.
The ultimate hockey puck.
Yes.
It's actually a nice watch if you have the wrist like you do, Bucha.
No, it is. It is. I've got my big watch now. I just need something. My next watch, the watches. I think I want something blue. I like the blue OP actually. The OP 41. I like the IWC 43. The Big Pilots 43. There's a couple other ones I look at here and there. I'm like, well, if I'm going to do like a 2-watch collection, this plus something in a blue that isn't quite as thick, because this watch is 15 thick, and that's plenty thick.
Here's a question for the panel.
Shoot.
Have you ever sold a watch and then rebought it? Not the same exact watch, but the same model.
Well, yeah. I mean, that I had before I rebought. The Polar 300M. I've done that twice. I have.
I haven't yet, but there's been a couple of times when I've seriously thought about it, though. What about you, Brian?
Yeah, see, Watch on Wood understands why I'm looking at that Nomos. He says, I feel like you need something minimalistic, almost Germanic, and 100 meters of water resistance with a bracelet. He gets me.
Oh, okay.
You have an enabler. Congratulations.
Yep.
And the IWC, I mean, in Schaffhausen, they lean German. George, you still there?
Yeah, I'm not.
We lose you?
Yes. I was Yeah, I.
I like my
Oh, well.
IWC.
Oh,
Oh,
I like your IWC. That's a good watch.
I like mine. It's comfortable to wear. It's easy to wear. It's titanium.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Just IWC. George hates them because they hated on him.
yep. Oh well, can't get them all, right, Lucha?
True story.
no, but I'm seriously thinking of rebuying the yellow gold green dial GMT Master 2.
Oh,
Oh, Chase has one. Is that yours, Brian?
No. But Chase has one. It's not exactly the era that I want. I missed out on one because again, I've got some unmotivating anchors up my butt right now, but there was a European watch had a full set 2005 version. So that's the first year.
okay. 2005, is that aluminum bezel?
No, ceramic.
Ceramic?
Because that watch, when it came out in 05, was modeled to have the ceramic bezel.
Okay.
And I meant it, I just couldn't. I mean, I could, but I was, yeah, I'm being a bitch.
See?
That's all I gotta say. But it was a full set, box papers, everything original. Still had the sticker on the back.
It's a good looking watch. Good looking watch. On that note, I've got to head off. I've got some groceries to buy, get ready for the morning games.
All right, George.
Appreciate your letting me on.
Oh, of course. Anytime. Always a pleasure.
Brian, take care of yourself. Enjoy the wonderful weather. I'm jealous. Right now it's about, let me see. I know it's like 30 something here. Let me see here. Yeah, 37 degrees here. So
It got down to 48 last night. It's
I don't
currently
even
68 and sunny.
Yeah. Oh. Anyways, I envy you. So have a great rest of your day.
All
Go
right.
Niners.
You say, yeah, go Niners.
Go Niners.
Go back to San Francisco.
Interesting guy, George is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's cost me more money than some other people.
Well, George is a high-end enabler.
Yeah. Yeah, he could be a communist.
But like his De Bethune, I think is amazing looking.
It is.
I just love that watch. So the green dial GMT, but a little more vintagey. Which, like, what do you think of these, Brian? I always look at these Vacheron Overseas Blue, the three-hander. I always just think it's just to me, it's such a smart looking watch.
Yeah, and the flexibility with the bracelets.
Yeah.
And to be able to quick change and do all the different colors with it means you've got a sports watch, a dress watch, and a bracelet watch all in one. The bracelet is really comfortable, and the micro adjusts on it are pretty darn good.
Yeah. It's always said that it's a smart looking watch. I just always like anytime I see a picture of one, I'm like, I stop and look at it and go, that's a good looking piece. And the blue that they do on it is pretty amazing.
Yeah. The problem I had I had the dual time silver dial.
Okay.
The dual time is a little thicker than the three-hander.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like the bracelet was really more comfortable for me, but because of the lug length and the way it fell off, it falls off fairly fixed, so it really expands to like 54 millimeters lug to lug.
Okay.
So it just didn't.
It just didn't fit. Yeah. No, I get it.
You, on the other hand, with your tree trunks, it might work better for you.
Brian, I don't know if you were on at the beginning. I was trying to to dual wrists, and I discovered that my right wrist. I never really put a watch on my right wrist. My right wrist is an 8. And I had to take the watch off because I was cutting off circulation.
Yeah, so my right wrist, which is my non-dominant hand, is 6 3/4. My left wrist, which is my dominant hand, is like 7 1/4.
Yeah. Now I compare that Vacheron to this, and I like the Vacheron better. Now I like the to me, the Royal Oak is all about the bracelet.
Yeah.
The bracelet's amazing on it. You know, I just think it's just like the perfect integrated sports watch bracelet. But overall, the watch itself, I actually like the Vacheron better.
And the bezel on the overseas is a bit of a scratch magnet.
Is it?
Yeah. Yep. Just because of it sits up fairly prominently on the watch.
Okay. Which makes sense. Guys, we've only got 13 upvotes. Oh, dear Lord. Please hit the upvote button. That's all I really care about.
Please hit the upvote button or Mark will be called home.
Please hit the upvote button. People.
I think there might be a lot of people getting caught up on dramas.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's drama.
There's drama? What's the drama? What did I miss? I haven't been paying that much attention.
Oh, people traveling in the watch world and stuff.
Do you mean what's his name? O'Sheen?
Yeah. Drama.
He traveled to Pittsburgh. I smack him in the mouth.
I can't imagine him ever wanting to go to Pittsburgh voluntarily.
Yeah. Mr. North Reunion. One fell apart, but I did make some crab cakes the other day, Brian.
Oh, food talk, yay.
Yeah, they were tasty. I did so when I make sauces, depending on what they are, a lot of times I'll freeze some, I'll make a bunch and freeze some. So that was that was a tiki masala sauce that I had. I was like, I should probably use that. Maybe I'll put the crab cakes on top of that. It really gave it a good flavor. But the one coming out, I just completely, the one on the left totally fell apart. Not everything is always perfect in the Lucha kitchen.
Well, that's good. You're not even showing them.
Oh, shit. Hold on. This is why I need you.
Okay.
Let me share the tab. Sorry, guys. So, yeah, the crab cake on the left sort of fell apart.
And down it went.
But you know what? It didn't taste any less delicious than the other. We also made I made a gourmet grilled cheese with some leftover ham, leftover cheesy potatoes. Oh, so good. So good. I got this. They've been making this Tuscan bread at the Market District. The bread in their bakery is amazing. And I've gotten that. I've used it in a few things, and it's just so good. And that sandwich was delicious. And then I made eggs in a basket with some leftover ham and cheese because I got to get rid of all this. I had to get rid of all the food before it went to waste. I hate when stuff goes to waste, So that was equally delicious. Let's see if there's anything else since last week. I think that might be it. I did stop at DeLuca's Diner. They've been featured on a couple of Food Network programs. There's two locations. The main location is in the Strip District, but they do something called the mixed grill, which is basically just a bunch of vegetables and potatoes mixed, grilled up together, topped with whatever, however you like your eggs and however you want your meat, Brian. It's served with Mancini's toast. It's so good. It's so delicious. But it's like an old school diner. You can even see like the creamer in the metal can there for your coffee. It's just so good. But the mixed grill, if you're in Pittsburgh, there's a couple places they have a mixed grill on the menu for breakfast. I highly recommend it. Oh, and then there's that. What else we got? I think that was it for food this week. I finished up. I was every day for lunch and dinner. So like Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, I do the long days, 11, 12, 13 hours, whatever ends up being the case. And I did I made bowls, turkey for lunch and the ham bowls for dinner to get rid of all the food. So it worked.
Spent the whole day cooking just to get rid of food.
Oh, hold on. We got a special. I wanted to check it out before I hit it.
But wait, you have one of those things called a super chat.
Oh, geez. Oh, Pete, what? Somebody's
Yeah.
in this show? Muhammad Ali says, one day I'll be as cool as Brian and get a Royal Oak. Yes. I was just going to say, it's funny because I was on the IG page. I was just about to pull up the picture he sent of his breakfast. Hold on.
Beans on toast.
No, it's better.
Link for beans on toast.
Link for beans on toast. Check that out.
There's the blue overseas.
That's the blue overseas, and I love it on that red strap. I just think that is it's so good looking. And the blue on that dial is amazing to me. But this might be, I don't know if it's the same picture he sent me before, because it looks like the same meal. It's like a toast with like a mushroom ragu on top of it, and then oh god, an egg on top of that. It just looks so good, and I forgot about that picture, and then I wanted to figure out exactly what it is and try and recreate that as part of my breakfast menagerie. But it's so good.
You know what I like in that picture?
The coffee.
You see how dark that coffee is, and it's got a little coloring around the edges with looks like a little bit of bubbling.
Yep.
That right there tells you that's a well done cup of coffee.
Well done cup of coffee. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. That's a great picture because the coffee's great, the breakfast is great, and the watch is great. So it's hard to beat that trifecta there.
Yeah.
Muhammad Ali says mushrooms on toast on our delicious hot sourdough with cream cheese, topped with sauteed mushrooms, spinach, and 2 perfectly cooked poached eggs. Yes. I'm going to recreate that, Muhammad Ali. That will be on the breakfast menu. This week we went, since Curly came on last week, his wife is of Puerto Rican descent. We went with the arroz con tocino. Delicious.
Oh, you're making me hungry.
Instead of using salt pork or pork belly or bacon, I chopped off a good section of the back piece of the ham that I had left over and chopped it into bits and used that as the base layer. So it's a little inauthentic, but it was still did the job. The ham did the job, and I had it, and I hate to waste it. You know that. I hate to waste the food.
If it starts to go bad, just puree it and mix it into something.
Yeah, but I still have some of that Tuscan bread left. I know I have some cream cheese. I can get some mushrooms. Figure out how to make a sauce for it to make it kind of come together. Top that with a couple eggs. That'll be delicious. Probably not as good as Muhammad's, but hey, what are you gonna do?
Someday you are gonna be a wonderful wife to somebody.
Yeah. They hate it, Brian. The women, they hate it that I can cook. They love it at first, but then they get tired of it because they don't get the request is that if we're having dinner that I cook. They get mad. They get mad. It's like my brother is a sous chef at a restaurant, but he will never cook a holiday meal because nobody wants him to. You know, they all request that I do it.
Yeah, let the guy that sells Jeeps for a living cook, and let the cook go and change the oil on the Jeeps while the salesman's
Exactly.
cooking.
Exactly. But yeah, so that was the arroz contentino. That was really good. That rice was really good. Part of the breakfast around the world, Brian. We've been doing breakfast around the world and just trying to keep it going.
Well, when you get to the Scandinavian breakfast, and they've got all the different kinds of herrings and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
let me know. I love going to Denmark and having the hotel breakfast with the eggs and 2 or 3 different kinds of herrings and all the real hearty dark breads and
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
and they're very amiable to people that smoke there.
Ah,
Yeah, you just have to go outside.
okay. That's not too bad.
But by outside, by meaning 1 foot out the door.
Yeah.
Delete that. I'm now waiting for emails from people, and I don't like waiting for emails from people. When I send the email instantly, people should reply.
Yeah.
And don't they know who the fuck I am? God damn it.
Don't they know who they're dealing with?
Sons of bitches.
Rat bastards.
Mm.
So have you gotten to drive the monorail?
No, my training for driving will probably be they'll prioritize the full timers over me, so probably I would guess late February, somewhere in March, they'll start asking me.
Ah, very nice.
10 days. 10 long days. Not looking forward to it.
Yeah. Excuse me.
And here's the sickness in me.
Okay.
I like dealing with the people.
Oh.
When
Wow.
you're the driver, all you do is sit up in that front cab by yourself and drive.
Oh.
You don't really get to deal with the people.
Yeah. Different.
Yeah, and the longest drive trip is 10 minutes, so you're just doing a lot of short start, stops, go, start, stop, go,
Yeah.
It's like, you know what? Just leave me out there with the people.
Yeah. Hang out with the peeps.
Yeah. Now, during the summertime, it might be nice to get an hour or 2 sitting in the cab with the air conditioning blowing on you and not standing outside for.
Yeah. Now, here's my next question. If you have if you're working the monorail, if you're driving, is that all you do the entire shift?
It could be. It just depends on staffing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because to what you were saying, get a couple hours in the air conditioning and then go back out and get to deal with the people.
Yeah, it just depends on the scheduling and the location that you're assigned to, son.
Okay.
Yeah. Right now they're a little short on drivers, so some drivers are sitting in the trains for the entire day.
Ah.
And you can tell which ones they are because when they get to take a break, they're the ones in the break rooms standing up and walking around.
I was going to say they're moving around because they've been sitting that whole time.
Yeah. The rest of us are finding whatever comfortable chair we can and just collapsing on it for 10 minutes or 15 minutes.
Makes sense. Makes perfect sense.
You start to learn how to do the unleaning one-legged stand.
Okay.
so that way you can rest one leg at a time. If you've got, if you got a couple minutes to just stand there,
Yeah.
you learn how to find something to support you and just stand on one foot for a little bit and get some weight off that leg. And then the next time when you get some time, you trade the other legs. And
Which makes sense. I go back and forth on this watch, Brian, on if I like it or not.
I like it. It's just a little too big for me.
Yeah, I've never said that about a watch. I just sometimes I look at it and I go, that's a smart looking watch. Sometimes I look at it, I'm like, it's okay. I never dislike it, I'm always kind of back and forth on how much or how little I like it. Rob C says, hello, Lucha and Brian. Upvoted. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the super chat and for the upvote. Good to see you, sir. What's on the wrist today, Rob C? We know what the helicopter is. We discussed that the one day.
Look at that. There you are sitting in Pittsburgh, and you got people from Europe and England super chatting you in all these foreign currencies.
Yes. Good. Pounds and euros today.
Hey, did you get caught up and screwed in the StreamYard price increases?
Not really. And I don't know why. Mine hasn't changed. I know a lot of people's have, but I'm not sure why. But they did send me a thing if I were going forward, I could save a bunch of money if I did the yearly subscription. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to be doing this next week, let alone next year. Except I know I'll be here because Brian will get mad.
You're right. Yes. You need another tongue lashing?
I tell you, those 2 weeks that I had quit. Oof.
Yeah. I'm glad you got your panties out of your crack and got back on here.
I got catfished. Got totally catfished. Logan Hall's Girl Stream says the Explorer 2 feels great on the wrist, but like Brian said, a little large on my wrist too. Yeah. So it doesn't fit. I mean, obviously it doesn't, it's not big on my wrist. It's more the bezel that I go back and forth with. The solid steel, non-rotating bezel that I'm always like, do I like that or do I not? I can't decide. I just can't decide. What do you guys think? Because that's also an option for the next, So I want to find a second watch. I still have some chitters and stuff, but my goal is to really just to have 2 main watches that I wear. And things that I look at are like that: the IWC, the Big Pilots 43, the 42 millimeter Explorer 2, the Explorer 40, the OP 41, which just from aesthetically speaking, the OP 41 I just think is just a brilliant looking watch. Let's look one of those up because
I would take there's a couple of the OP 41s that I would buy if I could get them at retail or less. And then I also like the new Air King.
I don't like the new Air King. It's too busy.
I like it.
This watch, so I say it's funny because I say it's too busy, whereas I'm wearing a very busy watch. With the honeycomb and the my compacts register and everything. I still have my IWC stamp from the International Wrestling Cartel show yesterday on my hand. Not from the watch company, but then the other one needs to be a little more toned down, if that makes sense. I don't know. You tell me. because that watch is very busy. I like the blue. The blue is my favorite. I like that silver with the gold tone. That's not bad. Let's pull these up on Chrono 24 and take a look. See what they've got. Like this one isn't bad. Brian, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. I fell asleep.
Oh, there you go. So I like this one, but it's a little old manny.
Yeah.
You know, but it's a smart looking watch. You know what I mean? Like
that's like going to a fine ice cream shop and just ordering vanilla.
Yeah.
It's a good vanilla.
It's a good vanilla bean, but it's not the one that I really always when I think about it and I see them, it's usually the blue, the sunburst finish on that blue. I just think it's a smart watch. There's not a lot that I don't like about it, with the exception of the clasp. I'm not crazy about the clasp.
Oh, the flip lock?
Yeah.
Or the non-flip lock? The tilt lock?
The tilt lock.
Yeah. But at least you get the Easy Link in it.
Yeah, you do get the Easy Link. The because the bezel's not super big, it gives you a lot of, even at a 41, it actually wears a little bigger on the wrist because it looks bigger with the bigger dial. You don't have one of those goofy cyclopses on it. That's a pretty good watch.
Goofy Cyclops. How dare you?
People hate that I hate the Cyclops. You know that, right?
That Cyclops is brilliant.
Brilliant. Why is it brilliant, Brian?
Because I can see it without glasses.
How often are you without your glasses?
Oh, shut up. If we're going to speak rationally here, then I'm going to have to leave.
Yeah. Muhammad Ali says also the brushed steel bracelet, no silly polished center. Yeah, that's another thing. And all right, Brian, are you ready? Are you ready for hate? Ready for people to hate me, including probably you?
Yeah, you go ahead and do that while I answer this phone call.
Okay. I prefer the Oyster bracelet to the Jubilee. There, I said it. I do. I like the Oyster bracelet better. There's just something about it. There's something about the wearing experience, the way it looks.
I heard something. While I'm on the phone, I also heard something stupid about you like the Oyster bracelet.
I do like the Oyster bracelet.
You don't like the Jubilee bracelet?
Not the biggest fan of it.
I'm sorry. I didn't. Could you say that you don't like the Jubilee?
For me, I prefer an Oyster. I like the brushed Oyster too. Without the polish.
Well, on that note, that phone call that I got is more important than arguing stupid with you. So I'll be back in a minute or two or three.
Watson Wood says there's a simple rule for life. Oyster with smooth bezel and fluted with Jubilee. President, no negotiations. I can see that. Although I don't mind an Oyster with a fluted brace or fluted bezel on a Datejust. I don't think that's a bad looking watch. And I know it's not popular opinions, but I just think that is the most comfortable bracelet that they make. The fact that it doesn't have any polished center links means it's going to be durable. And I think part of what makes me like that is back in the day when I was buying Rolex and looking at stuff, and when you would look at a used Rolex, and I know they've improved the Jubilee, but when you would look at an old used Rolex at somewhere, the bracelet, if it was a Jubilee bracelet, it was janky and pulled and stretched, and it just didn't work for me. But this watch with the Jubilee, with its mix of brush and polish, which you guys know I like, with its applied markers and the applied crown on the dial, those are all things that you guys, anybody who's listened to me for more than a second knows that I love. Roth C disagrees. I most like Rolex on the Jubilee. And most people would agree with you. I will not, I will tell you that most people agree that that is the way to do the watch. But I like the simplicity of the Oyster bracelet. I like the way it just fits so nice on my wrist. I just like it. And it's not even, I don't know, because this is, got different links on it, this new Speedmaster bracelet. So, but again, if I'm doing a different watch, would I really need a Jubilee when I have the Speedy bracelet? I don't know. Maybe that's part of it too when I look at it. Frank Cannon says the Jubilee bracelet is too dressy for him. I think it does dress up the watch. I think an OP is more of a Gata watch. You can use it as a dress watch, but it's more of a, kind of go anywhere, do anything. And I think that makes the Oyster on there even more essential. I'm not crazy about the tilt clasp, the tilt lock, or whatever you want to call it, but I mean, it is what it is. It's a beautiful bracelet. It's a beautiful watch. I love the Sunburst Blue OP. I know everyone went crazy over all those colors and stuff that they did, but I like the Sunburst pattern that the blue has more than a lot of those other. RFC says, "Wow, Lucha, do you have a new Speedmaster? Congrats, beautiful watch." Yeah, here. Oh, I'm sorry you didn't see it. Here, I picked up the Super Racing. So this watch is an expensive stainless Speedmaster. I think it might be or maybe the second most expensive in the Speedmaster line in stainless. But what makes it special, and it's hard to kind of see here, I'll pull up a better picture so you can see the dial better. But lyre lugs, brush polish, the bracelet tapering down to 16 from 21, and you can't really see it in there, but this has the all new Spirate. So it's a caliber 9920. So it has the coaxial, the double barrel coaxial escapement, the jump hour, and the Spirate system. So you can fine tune that to, this one's running plus minus 0. But you can fine tune it in 0.1 increments. It's good to 0 from the factory, 0 to plus 2 seconds a day, so it won't lose time. It'll only gain up to 2 seconds a day, and it is amazing. I'm going to pull up a picture of the dial here. We'll come back to what is going to be Mark's second watch discussion here in a second, but let me pull that up. Let's share that. There you go, Ruff. That is the Super Racing with the honeycomb dial. It's Pittsburgh colors and it's black and gold. It's the movement technology is amazing. The second hand at 9 o'clock in the 9 o'clock sub register is striped like the Bumblebee stripe from it is that, and the fact that on the 10th of every month, the number 10 in the date comes up in the Speedmaster font. And those are callbacks to the original Bumblebee Aquaterra, the original greater than 15,000 Gauss anti-magnetism resistant watch that they came out with 11 years ago now, but at the time when they released this 10 years ago. And they were not easy to come by. I had kind of forgotten that the watch existed. I saw it at a AD, did not buy it, didn't really talk about it with them very much because they were kind of just, I would ask, they would pull something out. They were really cool. Just let me kind of do what I'm thinking. Yeah, it is a great dial. Thank you. And I thought about that watch the whole way home. I had taken a picture of it on my wrist. I went home and started researching it, and I just couldn't get it out of my head. Emailed the guy the next day, worked out a deal, went and picked the watch up. Picked it up on the 6th. And the only reason I really remember that I picked it up on the 6th was that it was the day after the election, you know. And it was just such a cool piece. They'd ordered it in for a guy who didn't pick it up. So they also, not only did I get, it comes with a NATO strap, which I'll never put it on. And I'm not sure about this. So they ordered this Apollo 8 band in, and they actually, I believe, put a Seamaster pin buckle on it because the Apollo 8 comes with the ceramic. Let me make myself big here. But because it's the racing, it kind of looks cool. It came with that as well. But you see the pin buckle on there is actually, I believe, off Seamaster. So the Apollo 8, I think, comes with this black ceramic. But they'd ordered it in for the guy, and he didn't want the watch in general, let alone the bracelet. So they threw that in too. So I got a bonus. So I actually it came with a strap tool, and it came with I don't want to lose my the NATO that it comes with from the factory, and it came with that strap as well. But I love this bracelet so much. I don't know that I'll ever take it off of there. I did a little quick wrist roll video the other day to celebrate 1 month. Yeah, here. Showed this earlier, but so the 1 month anniversary of the Speedy Super Racing. And it is a big watch. It's 44.25 millimeters thick, or across. It's 15 millimeters thick, 14.9. And it's 50 lug to lug. I mean, it fits my ogre wrists fine. But what a cool piece. I just, I forgot it existed. And then I went back and started doing some research on it, and I was like, oh man, that was the Spyrate watch. And I kind of forgot that existed because they announced that, and then nobody ever got the watches. There were very few of them that hit any ADs, which I guess they're starting to filter into them now. But for me, at that size, with that bracelet, with that cool dial, with those Pittsburgh colors, I think it's the perfect Lucho watch. Doc Mick in Florida, good to see you, sir. Always good to see you. Yeah, so that's the new one. And so basically my goal is, to have some shitters and some fun stuff to play around with, but to have two main watches. And that is why this, where did I go with it? There it is. This is one of the considerations, because this would just be more of a lot more casual, a lot smaller, at 41, and I don't believe it's a super chunky thick watch. It has everything that I would possibly need in a watch, because it's very simple and it's very kind of classic looking. The sunburst dial I prefer to a lot of the colored dials they've done. Somebody asked me about the green. I said, if they did the minty green in an OP, that would be a possibility. But that kind of matte Rolex green, I'm not crazy about. Just not crazy about it. You guys can hear my cat crying outside the door as we go. But yeah, so that is why this is a consideration for the next watch. I'm going to take my time and decide. I mean, and the other thing I've discovered is since I moved on from one stuff and just bought this crazy expensive Speedmaster, that I don't mind wearing the same watch every day. I've been wearing this every day for a month, but I think it looks great on my 7.5-inch wrist. The taper is amazing. The bracelet just feels amazing. Like I said, it was nice of them to throw in that strap. I doubt that this watch ever ends up on that strap because it's just so good. The bracelet's so good, and I have not had a single even negative thought about the watch, let alone a regret. I don't see myself selling this watch. Mathis has dubbed this as the Lucha because I haven't seen. Somebody was talking. I can't remember. Was it Watch on Wood? Was it somebody was talking last week about they could get a deal at a local AD on one. They might pick one up. That would be the second of these. This watch came out in I think late January of 23, but it was one of those Omega releases where they just didn't get out very much, and they still looking for the Turnograph. Turnograph's a great watch. Ralph, were you looking for the blue one? Was that the one you were looking for? I wish I had a Turnograph. I had one of the original Thunderbird Turnographs. I know there's a picture of it here on my Instagram somewhere. I'll find it for you guys. But they came out with that one after I traded up for a sub. Mine was, because they were always 36s, which was the bummer of that watch for me. But a cool watch. The Turnograph, any iteration of a Turnograph is a pretty slick watch that I like. I'm going to try and find a picture of the one that I had. I come across this picture, oddly enough. My mom gave me some photos. So it's not a great rendering of it because back then, this was probably 2001. You didn't get real good pictures of them. There was my Turnograph. Yeah, the blue on the Jubilee. That's right. I remember us looking at that for you. That was my Turnograph with the white gold Roman numerals and the white gold Turnograph bezel. It was a great watch. It was just a hair too small. Wise on Wood says, "Yep, holding out. The price has dropped again on Pregnal. No finance could be offered by my AD, so I'm playing hardball. Got the cash, just want to keep it. Yes. How's the wife? Does the wife know that we're looking at this? Roth, this was either 2001 or 2002. It's you get old, you forget. I thought it was 2001. But yeah, the Turnograph's a great watch, and those ones that came out later with the red second hand, like the one that you're looking at, and the different colors, and they were awesome watches. I only wish that they had made those in the 41. The question I've been asking myself for the last year when considering my next purchase is, what will make me want to reach for the potential watch in the watch box over what I have already? Yeah, that's a very, very, very big thing to ask yourself. And that's one of the things I'm wrestling with is I literally enjoy wearing this every day. So if I buy something else, it's got to be something that I won't feel disappointed if I'm not wearing it, if that makes sense. I don't know if you guys get like that. So you've got like your, there might be a watch that is like the watch for you, but could you wear something else and not feel like, I'm slighting myself or something? That's the tough call. Or someone says, wife does not know, better to ask forgiveness and permission. I agree wholeheartedly with that assertion. 100% have to agree with you that that is definitely the way to go. So, but what else we got going on here, guys? Anything else going on in the world? I don't know. We know Rough C is looking for a who's a majigger, turnograph. We know that Watts on Wood is playing hardball with the good folks. Was it Pregnelli? Is that what it was? Yeah, Pregnelli. Pregnell. On the Super Racing. And Super Racing is a great watch. It's expensive for a Speedmaster. You know, I got a deal on mine, not quite as good as the Watts on Wood. The numbers are thrown out last week. That's a really good deal on that watch. It's different. So, in a world of Moonwatch Speedmasters, a racing Speedmaster is different to begin with. The Super Racing is like the next level of being different with the honeycomb dial, with the spirate. It's just good. The bracelet's better on the Super Racing than the standard racing. The bracelet is more like the chronoscope bracelet, the new Speedy bracelet. It's just a good watch. But this watch in the picture was a very simple. I mean, it's the Turnograph, the Thunderbird, but it was a very simple watch on a very simple oyster bracelet, you know, with just enough white gold to make it give it a little bit of pop. It was just a hair too small. 2012 Turnograph on Jubilee with the red date. Let me see if I can find one of those, Rough. We'll go look for one of those. We'll look those up again because I would never buy this watch because of the size myself, but I love this watch for someone who can wear it. I just think it is magnificent. Here's one on eBay. Let's see if we can't pull this one up. Share this tab. Boom. I believe that is the watch in question. Here's a good picture of it on somebody's wrist out in the sunlight. It's gorgeous. It is a gorgeous watch. I'm not sure what these go for normally. You know, they're asking $9,000 for this one, evidently, at Porcello Jewelers. But if you're looking for just a good-looking piece on the Jubilee, there it is on the wrist. Yeah, bracelet's in good shape. Case looks like it's in good shape. A couple little minor marks on it, nothing major. This is a watch I wish they would come back with. And when everybody talks about, oh, what should Rolex do? I would come back with this and do it in a 36 and a 41. That would be a winner. They couldn't print enough money if they did that. Rough says 10 to 12 grand. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. It's a shame because I think that watch new was like, is that like a $6,500 watch when it was new? If I remember correctly. He said, as Rob says, I understand, but my wingspan is a disaster. Yes. Well, and that's why, you know, my gripe with the influencers and the YouTube personalities isn't that every watch needs to be, you know, it isn't just that they say that watches need to be smaller. They're allowed to be different sizes. You're allowed to have multiple sizes of watches. Yeah. To which they just seem to think that is a detriment to the industry. It is a detriment to those with small wrists for watches that they don't make smaller. But by the same token, here is a smaller watch that I wish I could wear. So it goes both ways. But that watch is super cool. Yeah. 10 to 12 with box of papers. Ross says this will be my next one. It's a great watch. It really is. And it's got a pop of color with that red date, with that red second hand, with the red turnograph on the bezel or on the dial. The pop that you get off that white gold bezel is amazing when you see it in person. You can kind of see it in this picture in the sunlight, but when you see this watch in person, it's really good looking. It's just really, really good. Ross, he says, love your new Speedmaster, but 46 millimeter. It's 44.25, but yeah, it's big watch. Too big for me, unfortunately, which is kind of where we started the show because we were talking about the Nomos and the small watches, but the lug length, because the lug length on this is only 50. So it's not super long across the wrist. You can still see bracelet on each side. So for me, it makes it perfect because it fills up the wrist without being super, super long. But it's a great piece. But yeah, this is a watch that I am jealous that I could never enjoy.
I'm listening again.
Oh, hi, Brian.
Yeah,
look, it's a Jubilee bracelet on the screen.
Oh, what a beautiful watch.
Isn't that a great watch?
Too bad it's so small.
Yeah, I know. And I was just saying that I get the whole, oh, we need to watch this to be smaller, but it goes in reverse, so like Ross said, he couldn't wear my Speedmaster, but I couldn't wear this turnograph, I mean, it does go both ways. Basil says it's lug to lug or nothing. Lug to lug is the bottom line for fit to him.
Yep. I could go back to wearing the first Rolex I had was an OP36.
Okay.
And I thought that it was, I thought it was a nice big size for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I've gotten used to GMT Master 2s that are 40s. Problem with this 36 is that there's a lot of bezel there.
Yeah. Yeah, with the turnograph. Or like this, or like my original one. That was a great watch, but it was a 36. And the more I wore it, I loved it, but I would always be like, it's just not quite big enough. So I traded it in for a two-tone black dial sub, aluminum bezel.
I'm surprised at your age, your first Air King wasn't a 34.
Well, that was a Datejust. That was a Datejust turnograph. The Thunderbird.
I wish they'd bring the Air King back and make it the biggest watch they have.
Yeah, a big Air King would be cool without all the extra numbers on it. The old 369 Air King. Do that in a 42. That would make my watch decisioning easier. Rolf says back in the day they were 3,500. I thought they were more like 55, 65 back when that one came out. Because I want to say that this one on the screen was 55, was around 5,500. Maybe been 57 list. But back then, I think I got like 20% off, Rufus in the chat. Afternoon, Rufus. How are you, sir? Don't forget to hit the like, smash the like, and upvote the stream if you haven't already. I do appreciate that. But yeah, there's
don't just smash it. You can tap it softly and gently too.
You see, now you sound like a NOMOS wearer.
If I was a NOMOS owner, I would say first you lightly butter the upvote button, and then you put some avocado on it.
Yeah,
with a hint of cilantro.
Ah,
while sipping on a pu'er tea.
okay. All right. Fair enough. Oh my. Inspired by my recent views. There you go. Yeah, but I like these watches a lot. I wish I would, if they came back out with this and did this in a 41, I'd buy it in a heartbeat. That would be the one. This thing is so, it's just different enough. Make it good looking. Of course, I get mine on an oyster, Brian. Brian. Brian.
I heard you. I heard you. Only thing I like to do with oysters is put horseradish on them.
Yeah. Ralph says, I bought his first Rolex in the 90s with 25% off. Those were the days. Yeah.
Long time ago.
Do you know? I mean, they offered me, when I bought my two-tone sub, they offered me 30% off if I would have bought the original 50th anniversary green bezel sub. They couldn't get rid of it. Nobody wanted it. It just sat there and sat there and sat there. No market for it at the time. Craziness. But what are you going to do?
Oh.
Ross says some people won't believe it. I know. They're used to paying over retail.
Oh, not doing that.
The way Glenn Miller played. Those who made the hit parade. Guys like us, we had it made.
Those were the days.
Can you imagine them trying to put that show on TV these days, Brian? The internet would break itself.
Oh. If you haven't seen All in the Family, you have to. The one episode that you have to see is when Archie meets Sammy Davis Jr.
Jr. is so good, so classic. It's so good. Freaking hilarious. Yeah, that show. It was a funny show, and it was, I mean, it was edgy. It was edgy at the time. I can't believe that they would get away with it these days. Basil says, Archie! So good. Yeah, whatever happened to good TV?
Yeah. It still holds up too, the show.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the dynamic was there.
The writing was there. The characters were there.
Everything was good with that.
Yeah. It got a little heavier towards the end of its run, but
yeah,
I got into some interesting things that
it's like anything. I mean, they have their window, and most of them run a year or two too long. Most of the great shows, anyway. But it was must watch TV. All in the Family was one of those shows when you had to go to UHF, Brian. That was on. It might not even have been UHF. It may have been on regular TV. There was like MASH and All in the Family were on every day. Reruns of those were on every day.
Yeah, all the local LA stations we grew up with, the reruns were well, when I was growing up, MASH wasn't in rerun yet.
Okay.
But it was I Love Lucy, The Brady Bunch, All in the Family.
Hogan's
Those were
Heroes was on a lot.
Bewitched and I Dream of Jeannie. Those were the standard rerun ones, and Gilligan's Island.
But I remember that MASH was running reruns years before the show was over.
Yeah.
You know? They were there. It was just classic TV that was on. You know, a rerun was on every Wild Wild West. Remember the Wild Wild West?
Yeah.
All those shows. Just let's see. Doc Mix says, "I'll never forget the first time I heard Edith singing on TV. I thought, what the heck is that?" Exactly. Roth C says, "Don't forget Dallas and the streets of San Francisco." Carl Walden.
And All in the Family was based off of a BBC show that was, I think it was called Everything's Coming Up Daisies.
Okay.
It was a BBC produced situation comedy with a same basic format. Father who's over the top, younger hip people.
Yeah. Which makes sense. It's a good formula. But yeah, those were classics. And there's been classics since, and there's great TV since, but those were, obviously if a Seinfeld reruns on, I'll stop and watch for a little bit. The Office, I'll watch The Office. That's also based off of a BBC show. I'll stop and watch those. There's some good stuff. The Blacklist. I loved The Blacklist until like the final year and a half. The Blacklist until COVID was a good show. The first 3 seasons of it were masterful.
And can we all talk about the greatest action drama comedy hour show ever that was only really decent in the first 2 seasons, and then after that it went to shit?
Which one's that, Brian?
The A-Team.
Oh God, the A-Team. Yeah, because that was part of that. There was like the A-Team, the Dukes of Hazzard, and shows like that all the same. Where they were like action comedies.
Yeah, and then you had the A-Team and Knight Rider. Those were my two.
Knight Rider. I was much more of a Camaro guy than a Firebird guy, so Knight Rider.
It's the same freaking car. Who cares?
Predisposed to not like that. I was much more of a Rockford Files guy.
I tell you the story about the '69 Camaro that I was supposed to get.
No.
My great uncle I turned 16 in 83.
Okay.
Doxing my age. Do the math.
There you go.
My great uncle had a one owner, all stock, small block 69 Camaro with the gold paint.
Oh.
All completely stock, not an upgraded option on it, but the base model. I think that had the basic 289 engine in it.
Okay.
He bought it brand new.
Mm-hmm.
And after 12, 13 years and the gas prices going up, he wanted to sell it.
Ooh.
I told him I would buy it from him, but my parents would not let me get a driver's license. They wanted me to wait another year until I was 17.
Ah.
So I told them, if you can wait, I'll, whatever the trade-in value is on the car, I'll give you a couple $100 more.
Nice.
He turned around 3 months later and traded it in on a brand new Nissan Sentra.
Ooh. It's a little bit of a downgrade.
A little bit of a downgrade. I So there was a Nissan dealership in Los Angeles that got this one owner mint condition, all original 14-year-old Camaro.
Ugh. And
I was gonna get women with that car.
yeah.
Well, I was gonna look better in it.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're gonna look
Yeah.
better anyway. Hold on.
I did not end up getting it.
So my first car. I wish I could make this bigger.
Your first car was an Edsel.
No, Brian. It was this. I can't make it bigger on here, but my mother bought that car new. And when I started driving, it was 4 years old and had like 18,000 miles on it because she took it to the park and ride. She took the bus into town every day for work. So I drove it for a couple years and then bought it when I graduated high school and drove that through college. That car was a cool car. Cool car. Rough C, the Knight Rider car was a Firebird.
Yep. It was a Pontiac Firebird,
Yep.
which is the same car as the Camaro.
Yeah.
Just from a different dealership.
Mm-hmm. But me and my friends messed with the engine, put air shocks on it, put those Indy aluminum slot wheels on there. There were 60s in the back and 70s on the front, and did a few other things to it. And just it was a great car. The chicks loved it, Brian.
Yeah, how'd that work out for you?
Yeah, I got a blind dog and a couple cats.
There you go. Does the blind dog care what kind of car you have?
No, he hates the car because he doesn't understand it.
Yeah.
So like sitting there with his nose out looking at everything doesn't mean anything to him. So he just kind of lays there and cries.
Well, he knows he's probably going to get something stuck up his butt after the car ride.
Chances are good.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
But yeah, that was a great car. Fun car to drive. I tell you what else was a really fun car to drive, surprisingly. This old man traded in this GTI when I was working at Subaru. It was a few years old. It only had like 22,000 miles on it. It was perfect. And I bought it you can see the bicycle on the back of it. I bought it, put a bike rack on the back, use it, for bike transport car basically. But man, that was a fun little car to drive. I wouldn't call it an overly fast car, but it was a super quick car.
Those are cars for people that don't have the style or can afford a Mini.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. The only thing Minis hate more than GTIs is WRXs.
And
that's because the WRX is an actual real rocket.
WRX is actually built to be a race car originally.
Yeah.
Ralph C says, couldn't be a better first car. A great gift from your mother. Yeah, well, it was a great car. That was but that GTI was a fun car to drive. I was surprised. I bought it as a beat, just to have a beater, and had a number of Challengers, Charges. This car, the 29P, or was it the 29P performance package, Hemi Charger, great car. It wasn't like
Hemi.
Yeah, it wasn't an SRT or anything, but it was a great car. Love cars. Here you go, Brian. Is that a CUDA?
Yeah.
How about this? Was I took this in on trade, and we see wholesaled it at a specialty auction, but that was a cool Smoking the Bandit car. Yeah. Here's your Camaro.
Yeah.
I think that might have been a 69. That was up at the auction. I saw that. That might have been a 69, 68 or 69. Hard to remember. Cars are fun.
Cars are a really expensive hobby.
Yes. You can get crazy with cars.
Really expensive.
It's true. It's true. It's true.
And that quote is from another movie that couldn't get made right now, Blazing Saddles.
I love Blazing Saddles. That's such a good movie. Ralph C says, Lucy, you're also a great petrol head. I say, yes, absolutely. Watches, cars, blind dogs. I do it all. Food. Whatever needs to be done.
You know what? Blind dogs that drive cars, they wear NOMOS watches.
Do they?
Yeah.
So you're saying the blind dog and the Nomos go together?
Only if they're driving.
Ah.
Is he trying to?
Am I trying to what?
Oh, I'm talking to myself. I'm skimming through a website.
Ah.
I'm doing a thing for a friend, you know.
Doing a thing for a guy about a thing about a place.
Some people are high maintenance. Some people are easy.
Yeah.
Nope, can't do that. I like that, but I can't do it. We're coordinating our schedules for the rest of the holiday season here.
Ah.
And it does not help that our house is torn apart at the moment.
Yeah. It doesn't help. So if I send you a picture of my boss and his wife and you see them on the monorail, I need you to just like say, hey, Mark said I should show you my watch. And they'll be like, what?
Hey, Mark's making too much money. He's buying stupid watches.
Don't say that.
Oh, okay.
Leave that part out. Leave that part out.
Forget that part. Erase that. Rewind.
So we got about another 10 minutes here and we'll be at our 3-hour threshold. Anything else you want to go over there, Brian, today?
No, I haven't. Yeah. I'm just kind of on idle mode with watches and watching the money go out the window with the house.
Ah, there you go.
And my breakfast was a banana, a sweet and salty nut and protein bar, and then some rice, some puffed rice and cheddar cheese chip things.
Fair.
2 of those things came packaged from the grocery store. I opened the package. I ate them. The banana also came packaged from Mother Nature. I peeled it. I ate it.
So Ralph wants to know if you're doing holiday Disney.
We no, there may be no, because we're all kind of because of the busy season, we're not allowed to use our free passes to get in. And so, but we are trying to get over there and see all the holiday decorations before we get blocked out. And then, depending on our work schedules, we'll be opening presents with the granddaughter, I would assume.
Yeah. So, Brian, should I just sell this on eBay?
Is that an actual factory Omega strap?
It is an actual factory Omega strap. It's actually for the Apollo 8.
Yeah, it's for the Apollo 8 Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah, but they put a Seamaster clasp on it, to put a stainless clasp on it for the guy that didn't buy the watch. But because it's 21 millimeter, like the Super Racing. Should I just like sell that? Like, I don't see myself ever putting it on the watch because I love the bracelet. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If you sell it on eBay, though, you're going to get a lot of questions about the buckle.
It's true.
But if you've got an account and you can take the pictures, put it up there for $50 and see what happens.
I don't know. I'm like, what should I do with that? Because I just don't ever see myself not wanting it on the bracelet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then the minute you put that strap on once and crack it, that's the end of it.
Right. Then you're done.
Yeah. Yeah, you're I've got a handful of things that are like that. I've got some unused brand new OEM straps that I've gotten for other watches, and I'm sitting here and I didn't send, when I sold the watches, I didn't send them the extra straps because the dealers don't give you any extra credit for it.
Yeah. Well, here's the other thing that went through my mind. I love this watch so much. The thought of selling this watch is not even, or trading or anything, to the point that I'm like, well, I don't need that to add value to somebody who might potentially want to buy it because I'm going to just keep this watch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I like it so much.
Yeah, I've got some stuff that I'm sitting here looking at going, we were talking about going back and buying other watches that you've had before.
Yeah.
There's a Patek 5205 that I had before that I like the way it looks. I love the lugs on it. I've got some straps for them.
Mm-hmm.
Should I buy another one just because I got the straps? Yeah.
Because you have the straps for it?
And I did like it, but it's a leather strapped watch. How often am I going to wear it? Why do I still have these?
What color was your 52?
I had the black and gray one.
Okay.
The one that I think I would get next is the white and gray because it's a lot cheaper.
Yeah. Yeah, this one?
Yeah, I had that one. I'd get the white and gray version.
Okay.
Or the white and silver version because it's just a lot cheaper and it's a little easy. It's a little more legible if you ask me.
So that one, let's see. Here's one at Watch Finder. This one.
Yeah.
Cool. It's a cool watch.
Yeah. But then should I get that, or I am kind of leaning towards that 5960 white dial stainless steel. Just because it's an annual calendar and a chronograph on a stainless steel bracelet. I get into my moods.
Yeah. What color would you get in that one?
That one comes with two colors. The white one is the one that's reasonably priced. The black one was only made for about a year at the most, and it's still catching a premium. So it would be the white dial, white and black with the red.
With the red hands.
That one.
There you go. It's a beauty.
And the only real white dial watch that I have in my collection currently happens to be a meteorite dial Pepsi. So It would, as the fine British folk would say, it would add a little verity to the selection.
Yes. I love that bracelet. I'm surprised that IWC let them get away with copying it. Brian?
I heard that. I chose to ignore it.
You just chose to ignore me.
Yes, I raised children, and when they said stupid stuff, I just turned the other way and ignored it. And
Ralph C, we'll see you next week. He says it's dinner time in Belgium. Have a nice Sunday, and thanks for the great stream, Lucha and Brian. Well, Brian, I just brought up bracelets. I just brought up bracelet talk that made people cringe.
to make people go have dinner in Belgium.
It's like, yeah, you know, I think it's dinner time.
Yeah, home of fine beer.
Yeah,
where the beer doesn't kill you in one drink.
true stories. Very cool. Well, we're gonna get ready to get on out of here and watch some football and let the dogs out and
That was a song.
Stuff. Who let the dogs out? Well, we are playing the Browns today. So
Well, take the Browns to the Super Bowl.
Stella Artois. I'm sure it's better in Belgium than the Stella Artois that we get here.
Any of this, so if you get the Stellas that are not bottled in the United States, they do have a little bit more natural sweetness to them that is really tasty. The ones in the US have a little bit more preservatives, and it kills the.
Yeah, it gives a little bit of a bitter aftertaste.
Yeah. But yeah, if you can get a Stella that's made for the European market, very nice.
Very nice. Great Belgian beer from Interbrew. Cool. I was never the biggest beer drinker post college, but if I do have something, I want something good.
I found a beer. I found two beers at Epcot that I do like. So one of them is Bombardier, and it's at the UK Pavilion.
Okay.
And it's got a really good. It's not like anything from the UK. It's not really good for hot weather.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a good beer for moderate weather to cold.
Yeah.
I really like that. And then over at the Norway Pavilion, I can't remember the name of it for the life of me. There's a Norwegian beer that they have that's good for hot weather.
Nice.
And by the time you pay for one beer there,
you
don't want to pay for a second one.
Yeah.
So I might get the beer and get a beer when we go do our little Christmas walk around.
So it looks like Penn State fell to number 6 after losing to Oregon yesterday, and they will host SMU, number 11 SMU. It's actually a pretty good draw for them.
That's right. We're going into bowl season, aren't we?
Well, this year you got the 12. You got bowl season, but you also get the 12-team college football playoff. Did you guys know that Interbrew has bought Budweiser a few years ago? I did not know that.
Yeah. InBev.
Nice.
There's only 2 beer companies left. Well, there's 3. There's InBev, then there's Beck's in Germany, and then there's SAB, which owns Molson and Coors, and a whole bunch of others.
Who owns Moosehead?
The Canadians. They can have them.
They can have it. My girlfriend in college was a big Moosehead fan. Ralph C says Heineken. So I remember when I was in Amsterdam, like when you would go into the squares, the plots, if you will, the cafes and stuff that had outdoor seating. They were either Amstel or Heineken bars. Like they had they would get, you would see something, everything was Heineken, you know, all the umbrellas and everything and stuff, or it was an Amstel bar.
Yep.
And everything was, you know, all Amstel up. I equated it to my fiance at the time to the way that we do Coke and Pepsi.
Yes. Yep. And Amstel in Europe is just called Amstel, but here it's called Amstel Light because it's actually a lower calorie.
Yeah.
It's just naturally made that way. Oh, no.
We're kicking on, or we're starting the games. So, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We do appreciate it. It's always good to hang out and chat on a Sunday morning. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully, everybody's hit the upvote button. Where are we on our upvotes? I don't even know. I haven't even checked. Holy crap. We're 21 upvotes. Thanks, guys. We'll get the rest here as the week goes on, because I always seem to pick up 10 as the week goes on and people watch the show. I appreciate it. Don't forget to do something nice for someone, say something nice to someone, and be the light you would like to see shining through others. Brian, you got anything else to add before we lucha our way on out of here?
No, if that doesn't work for you, remember, it's better to be the dog than it is to be the fire hydrant.
That's another true statement.
Yep.
Another very true statement. All right, with that, guys, I'm going to go watch some football, let the dogs out, all that kind of stuff. I got a Navy bean soup to make, so look for a picture of that on my Instagram tonight, and I will talk to you all next week.